they talking real loud. Spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Amadaya production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen AmadayAShakur show. I'm your host, Queen AmadayAShakur, and this is your daily vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so everybody, let's get some fire emojis in the chat and welcome my guests, the Lounge and Secret Service Sam. We have conversations with Jay joining us shortly. Okay, so we're going to get into it. Now, that all being said, before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Lights up, everyone, please. Don't forget to like and share. Thank you.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that
don't
was a
forget.
great commercial.
All right, thank you. That's my sponsor. I had 12 Tribes hair oil. Okay, so listen, guys, don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts, and you can also find it at Walmart.com. And for the guys, don't forget that she has this awesome beard oil. Okay, so with that all being said, listen, since Secret Service Sam has somewhere to be, I'm going to let him give us his thoughts and views first. Now, Sam, you and me were there every morning before the sun came up. We were sweating. It was hot. It was raining on us. There was drama in the line. We got assaulted. Our phones really cracked. all about this crazy man named John. We had to file police reports. We went through hell. Okay, just to get inside
City
that
bird.
door.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, just give us some of your thoughts on some of the things that were going on that you remember the most, and then your thoughts on the trial overall.
Uh, well, one thing, of course, once you mention John, when you and I had both had our phones taken and thrown on the ground, was I've always been, we've been cool, obviously, the whole time, but that really connected us together because you really stood up for that. Because what happens when you're arguing with somebody else and they might be a little bit crazy, you have to have somebody else backing you up. And you and I really stood tall on that. We stood on all 10 toes. You had 5, I had 5. And we filled the police reports out. We called the police precinct to then get the number. You have to not only get the police there, get a police report, you have to get a little number from the police, which you call, then give it to the court building woman, like, please, emailed her, here is our police reports. So this guy, John, could not be allowed back into the court building again.
Right.
But that guy told me to choke and die on my breakfast sandwich the first time I met him at 5 a.m., and I was just like, whoa. Crazy, crazy things that happened in that line. And then he's suing me for $100 million as well. So,
Right. Now tell us about when he brought you those lawsuit papers that he claims and how he tried to serve you.
right.
While we're
I
still
don't
in
know.
the line.
I'm trying to figure it out right now. I don't want to say it's worrisome, but it's something I shouldn't have to worry about at all. That this guy, like, I have to find out if these papers were legit, because imagine you're tired, like we were tired, we're on like an hour of sleep, and I'm just sitting there in a brief moment, just kind of, chillaxing out in front of the court building. John comes on his rollerblades, and then the other drunk dude, who I'll show you, this guy, he's like, serve him the papers quickly. Make sure you touch him with the papers. And I'm just like, yeah, where is this dude? Hold on.
Not make sure you touch him with them.
I am weak.
So yeah, this dude.
Yeah, that's him. That's the one
That
I
dude.
told him when
And
he
he
was in
throws,
line.
yeah, he throws the papers at me, so I'm just kind of like, I'm going inside, like, swipe them away. And then everybody's like, well, what did the papers say? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't keep them. I just swatted them away. So now I got to find out if they're real, because Emily knows everything is claiming that he actually paid to have that done. So I'm just like,
But here's the thing, Sam. He doesn't even have your real name, does he?
I don't know. I didn't look at the papers. I would imagine not, but it's not hard to figure things out.
Right. He could have gone on your TikTok or something. Who knows? Another thing is they said that his mother is a lawyer.
Yeah, I've heard that he comes from a prominent family. He's a big time. He was. The things he said were very vile. He had used the N word with Kay, the line sitter, the night
Yeah.
before. There was a whole lot of craziness going on with that. So he's not like, that's what had started the last night in
Right.
line. It was like 2 a.m. We're all sitting there. It's raining. It's dark, and you're still sweating. Like, it's so hot. Like, it made no sense at all. And
Right.
John wakes up, remember, and comes over and just started talking his smack. And it was just like, that was the day when I recorded him for like 10 minutes, because I was like, I just had it out with him.
Yeah, he is clearly a hot mess. And then that other guy, I told him one day, he was in line, and I said, sir, you're not getting in here. I said, you are clearly drunk and high. You're not going to get in. Okay? I don't even know
Yeah.
why you're standing in line.
Right.
So anyway, he was so mad because nobody wanted to buy his spot. Then he started begging us for $10. He's
Yeah.
like, I've been standing in this line since midnight. Somebody could at least give me $10. Like, sir, get out of my face.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
And remember when John took $300 from the woman in line, and then
Yes.
and then we were like, sorry, he's been banned from the courtroom, so whatever he just sold you is not real. She's like, that's not fair.
Right.
And I'm like, we know that's not fair, but we're just explaining to you that he sleeps here, but he doesn't have a place in line, and he lied to you, but it was too late
Right.
by that time. But I would also have to say one of my most favorite moments was just being there for the verdict.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Okay,
just
now that's Jay. He's still doing something, so he's not on screen yet, but he'll be here
okay.
soon. Okay, I just want to make sure I don't leave him sitting in queue like I did you the other day saying when you were supposed to
Oh,
leave.
that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, I would
Okay,
say that tension of being in the courtroom and hearing the verdict read out and hearing him guilty of 2 counts and thinking, well, wait, he's still. It took me a minute till everybody we got out and everybody's like, well, it wasn't the RICO, so it's not the life sentence. So it was like almost he didn't get off, but people kind of viewed it as that. And so
right,
I thought it was interesting then people were everybody stood up and they were it was like a standing ovation. And I remember we were all up. I was up, but I didn't clap because I didn't feel it was an appropriate response for
right.
myself. You know what I mean? But it was interesting to see everybody giving him a standing ovation. Um, so I don't know. That was a big moment for me. Just like it's just crazy, because the whole thing is like when you have lawyers that good, you can get away with a lot, and if he had bad lawyers, he might have gotten convicted of that RICO, but he had Brian Steele, baby.
Yeah, Brian Steele is one of the top appellate lawyers in the country. And with that all being said, they just didn't prove their case. Now, some people would argue that if they had presented the case differently, they could have gotten him, but I don't think so. At the end of the day, they just didn't have the elements to prove
Right.
it. The main element was proving that there was a RICO enterprise. They didn't prove that. That was the first thing they had to prove, but they didn't prove that even.
Hmm.
Also, because KK and D Rock were not even indicted.
No, we
So
never saw those guys.
yeah, we just heard about them but never saw them. Okay,
Mhm.
now Ryan says y'all was living the street life when y'all went to the trials. LOL with the street folks hustling. Exactly. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I went to hell and back. Okay, Michael M said the RICO count was very important, but so were the counts 2 and 4.
Hmm.
Right.
It was
So with
like
that all
Hunger
being
Games
said,
in the line, you know what I mean?
yeah, it was like Hunger Games. It really was. It was
Mhm.
crazy.
Wow.
There was
Okay,
never
so
you couldn't ever relax in the morning there, it was like I was talking to Emily Knows Everything, and it was just like the adrenaline of just being there. I'm having like a lack of adrenaline almost because every day you were there, you felt like, okay, this is going to be a normal morning, and it never was.
right.
It always escalated.
Hold on.
Oh, I
Messer
love
Man
Measure
said,
Man. He is the man.
Messer Man said, let the Timu Minnie Mouse, we have not forgotten about her microaggression, racially charged slurs.
Who is that about?
Are you talking about who I think you're talking about?
Measure
Timu Minnie
Man.
Mouse with her microaggression.
He said
I
Minnie
think
Mouse. I got it.
I think he's talking about that surprise witness.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah, Sam has been doing the rounds talking about that. They came out and did a little video with her boyfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll get into that because I know Sam's probably tired of talking about it.
Well,
But I,
I just don't know. Like, is it damaging to just sit? You know what I mean? Like, um, not damaging, but like, just this woman. She's obviously, like you said, little, Minnie Mouse with like people already thought I was calling her names and all this, but I was just defending my friends in line, and I witnessed this behavior, and I didn't agree with it. And when she came out to talk about it, none of us were planning on ever talking about this.
right.
So she threw the first stone, if we're talking in biblical terms.
Right, so let's talk about it from the beginning because I remember the very beginning of it. And thank you, Measure Man, for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. A shout out to Minnie Mouse if you're listening. Okay, so what happened was that morning of this incident, it was me and my friend Sherlon. Shout out to Sherlon. I know she's probably
Carolyn, yep.
watching.
Trinidadian journalist. She's an excellent journalist.
Right. Now, so me and her were in charge. Me and her were in charge of the line that day. Okay. So she got there right before me. I want to say she got there like 2 o'clock. I got there like 2:15 or 2:30. And
Mhm.
so we began. She had already began before I even got there.
Right.
A list of who was in line. Okay. So when I got there, that surprise witness, her fiance showed up. His name is Prim because he
Prim,
introduced
yeah.
himself to me. So he
Here's
showed up
something
there.
interesting. Sorry to interrupt you, but I have the list. I
Oh, okay. So Sam has the actual list.
have a hard time reading it. This is backwards, but I'm wondering if now it will show it to your audience in the right way. See, RJ's number one. He's the white dude who has the tent, who's kind of
Uh-huh.
interesting. But yeah, you should be able to see the names on there. Sam, you see me at number 6.
Mm-hmm.
Ron, the time traveler. And then I think if we, I'm trying to get those. Hold on. I don't want to.
I think it's kind of backwards, Sam.
Yeah, it is. That's what I
Just
was saying.
read the names off. We'll take your word for it because I
Hard to
remember.
read them because honestly, the way my phone took the video, it was backwards, but I can't. It's hard to see them.
Okay, well, here's the thing.
Anyway,
When
I
we,
just wanted to show you I had the list, so we can do a forensic
yeah,
deep dive on that.
not a forensic deep dive. Okay, so here's the thing. Like I said, I got there, and this guy Prim, who is that surprise witness's fiance, he actually got there at around, I think it was around 4 o'clock. We'd already been there for like 1.5 to 2 hours when
Yeah.
he showed up.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
he
Fact.
was at the end of the line. Okay, then he ended up purchasing a spot from a guy named Kevin, who's
Kevin.
one of the line sitters. Okay, Kevin is somebody who will line sit for you, and also he's a homeless person, but he'll line sit for you.
Kevin's cool too. Kevin's cool.
Yeah, because I bought spots from him before. But also, if he's in line, he'll sell you his spot and he'll get out. So anyway, Prim supposedly bought a spot from Kevin. Now I don't know how much he paid Kevin. I did see him give Kevin money. He said later that he gave Kevin $450.
Right. Which
Okay,
I
so
don't know.
now,
I hope he did. Good for Kevin.
so what happened is, then me and Sherlon had asked Kevin twice before Prim ever got there. We said, Kevin, who are you line sitting for? He said, nobody. Okay, then we asked him again, who are you line sitting for? He said, nobody. Okay, because I thought it was strange that he was in the line that early and then he's not sitting for anybody.
Well,
Okay,
and
so
Queen,
anyway,
you can't sit for 2 people. Also, let's just be.
no, you can't.
He
You're
got
not supposed to do that.
JC in because JC had also paid Kevin, so that's kind of interesting.
Well, right. That's what I'm getting to. Okay, so Prim got there and he bought the spot from Kevin, supposedly for $450. So now he moves up from the end of the line till about number 6 or 7 or somewhere like that, wherever Kevin's spot was. So Kevin leaves. Now, after Kevin leaves, we've already told Prim, because this is the first time we've ever seen him. So we're trying to tell him, or I'm telling him, how it all goes. I said the sooner, the later it gets, and the closer it is time for us to get in, people are going to start bum rushing the line and trying to get in front of people. So don't let anybody get in front of you. Okay, so then JC from JC Does Trials, she comes and then she says that she had Kevin holding a spot for her and that she paid him the day before.
Right, and there was some drama over that. I mean,
So
Queen Amadia, sorry guys, Jay is he's waiting in the back room, just to let you know. But you can remove me from the panel.
Oh, so that's you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
He's gonna
But
be
Jay still is waiting.
Okay, thanks. Okay, gotcha. Okay, now. Oh, I didn't see him. There he is at the bottom. Hold on. Okay. Hey, Jay, sorry about that. I didn't even see you. I thought that was you.
Oh, hey, what's going on?
Hey, beloved. Okay, so listen, we're just telling the story about this whole thing that happened in the line real quick. Now, so with that being said, so he's in line, Prim's in line, JC Does Trials shows up, and then she says basically that she paid Kevin the day before to hold a spot for her. We're like, Kevin didn't tell us that. So what he did was he double dipped, because that's what some of them would do. These are homeless people. Of course, they're going to scam you. They're going to run game. And I told her, I said, girl, you should not have given him, you should not have given him money in advance. You shouldn't have given him the money, a day ahead. Okay.
Well,
so
or Queen, here's what's supposed to happen. Kevin is supposed to be there in line. They come and replace him in line. That's how this line sitting thing works. So your line sitter doesn't leave before you get there, or else your place in line is done.
Right. So he'd already left when she got there.
Yeah,
so my thing was, I told her I didn't know anything about their agreement or whatever. Okay. So then me and her got into a little argument back and forth, because I was like, well, hold on. Don't get mad at me. I said, I don't know what you and Kevin had going on. I just only know from when I got here this morning.
Yeah.
Okay. So then other people vouched for her and said that she had absolutely paid Kevin the day before. So we started calling Kevin, because we all had his number, because he sat for all of us before. So I called him, she called him, somebody else called him. He was not answering. His phone was off, and we all know now why. So what happens is we get in the line. All of us are there. They're only letting 11 people in. Anybody after the 11th person goes into overflow. So there was Prim, even though he paid for a spot, she ended up taking her spot back because she paid Kevin first. So now Prim gets bumped down to number 12. Okay, so once we get, and then when his girlfriend, that surprise witness, the YouTuber, when she gets there, she swaps with him and he gives her his spot because he said he was saving it for her anyway. Once we get inside, we go through the metal detectors and checking all of our stuff, our electronics or whatever. There was a young man from California. This young man named Michael, he had been out there since midnight. He was there before even me. He was there before me or Sherlon. So basically, he had a whole bunch of stuff like camera equipment, laptops. So when he's going through check-in, it takes him a lot longer. But the rule of thumb is no matter how long it takes you to get through the metal detector and all of that, you're supposed to have your same spot in line once you get inside that you had outside. So that surprise witness got to the line before him because she didn't have much to check in. And so when he comes and gets in the line, she's in his spot. So he tries to get his spot back. He gets in front of her. And then the marshal says, no, there's only 11 people going in. You got to go right there. So he's like, no, I was here first, but it just took me longer. So we're explaining to the marshal. And so then the marshal says, oh, okay. So he tells her to get to the end of the line and tells Michael he can be number 11. But then she says, oh, no, I'm not getting to the back of the line. I was right here first. So when she starts raising,
he's like, y'all can give him your spot.
Well, no, we haven't even gotten to that part yet.
Oh, yeah,
She's talking to the marshal right now. So when the marshal tells her to get to the back of the line, she says, oh, no, I was here first. So she starts mouthing off to the marshal. And because she's white, that's what it was. Yeah. Then the marshal says, okay. He's like, well, he tells Michael, now you get to the back and she has to stay there. So then Michael's trying to explain and he tells Michael, it doesn't matter what you say, you're still not getting in. Okay, so from that point, I'm not arguing with him anymore because he already said what he said, that no matter what, he's not getting in. So there's no point in arguing. Okay, so now JC does trials and Princess, they start talking to the marshal saying, no, that's not right. He was in line first, and that's not how it's supposed to go. And then so that surprise witness is mouthing off to them saying, well, y'all can give him y'all spot then. If y'all wanted to get in here, y'all can give him y'all spot. She's talking to them. They're not even talking to her at this point. They're talking to the marshal. So now when she starts mouthing off to them, they start saying something back to her. So now they're all bickering, and the marshal looks at the black women and tells them, oh, y'all need to be quiet. I don't want to have to put anybody out. So then that surprise witness, BJ, that's her name. She's like, yeah, thank you, with a whole black scent. Okay. Now her boyfriend will say she doesn't have a black scent, that she just talks Southern, but no, she's clearly talking in a black scent. Okay. So she's like, thank you, still mouthing off when the marshals told everybody to be quiet, but he's not saying anything to her. So then when one of the white men, RJ, turns around and tells the marshal, that's another thing. I left this part out. When the marshal actually decided to let Mike get in the line and put her at the end was because one of the white men that was in line with us, RJ, who never says anything, he literally turned around and he's homeless. Okay, so I just want you all to pay attention to how even a homeless
he camped out there. I mean, he had a car apparently where he would unpack it, but he was one of the
Hold on, Sam. Even a homeless white person gets more respect than an educated black person. I want y'all to pay attention because when RJ turned around and says, wait a minute, he was in the line first when we were outside. He's been here since midnight. When RJ vouched for him, that's when the marshal said, okay, well, you get in the back and you can get right here. And he was going to give Michael his spot. But then, like I said, BJ started mouthing off to the marshal. So then he swapped it back out. So anyway, it was a whole mess, but she was using her white privilege card. Trust me, she was. She could sit here and act like those black women were attacking her. I was so surprised when I saw she posted that because she was the one being so rude and disrespectful and called them haggards and all that. And she basically, when she was talking trash to them, when they talked back to her, she was like, excuse me, they're harassing me. Acting like a whole damn Karen. I was so disappointed and so shocked.
Sorry to interrupt you. Who is this?
That surprise witness. That's her YouTube channel.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but Sam, tell him what Michael said. Oh, that's what she did? Wow, isn't that racist?
She did that?
Clearly.
Oh my God.
She's just telling on herself. Now, Sam, tell them what Mike said. Tell them what Mike said when you were on AT2's channel and I called Mike and I gave you his number. You're muted, Sam.
Oh no, it was terrible. I mean, he said on the podcast where he was just like, I knew I was a black man in there and I just basically had to put my head down and just not say anything so I didn't get kicked out. And
he said he put his head down.
Yeah, he said he put his head down, and it was sad. It was really sad. He, you know, that was not what I was expecting him to say, honestly, because I thought he was kind of like, you know, he was saying like, hey, this isn't right. You know, I was ahead of you and all this stuff. And she was just, you know, that was the thing where she says she was attacked. I literally heard her saying, I'm being attacked. And I look and I'm just like, and I look at you guys just sitting there kind of like, this is some BS. And then she was just kind of there, you know, she was not scared. I was telling somebody yesterday, it's not like she was turned away and just in fear or something. Like her body language was from like a try me, you know, kind of stance. And it's just, so the fact that she says she was scared all day, she left early because she had feared for her life. That's what it's, you know, it's just, that's not the case. You know what I mean?
Okay. She is full of crap. And at the end of the day, she was the actual aggressor. And
that's the irony of it. Yeah, she was aggressive. I said when I was sitting there with my dog, like, oh my God, there's a whole ass dog right there. I was like, okay, like most people are like, hey, is that your dog? Or she just was, you know, what somebody said, main character syndrome or something, you know?
Yeah. Wow. Metro Man said then, hold on, Metro Man said then lied to her audience. She was so upset she could not go live. Yeah, she's full of crap. That's just her playing the Karen.
She's making a documentary about it. I'm like, yo, dude.
A documentary about something that lasted all of 15 minutes. Like, make it all make sense.
Right.
Yeah. Make it all make sense. Okay, so you guys listen.
There's people really going through stuff, and for her to act like she had to recover from going there for one day is just absurd.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. That's what Karens do, though. I was shocked to find out she's a whole Karen. But okay, so
you were a fan. You know, you were like, hey, you were, you know, kind of like, you know, oh, hey, I sent you an email. She's like, oh, okay, I'll look out for your email now. You know, and she's like, and
I sent her that email. I sent her an email like a year ago because me and her were covering a specific topic. So when her boyfriend told me that his girlfriend was coming, I said, who's your girlfriend? Because he said she's a YouTuber. He said, that surprise witness. And I was like, oh, okay, I like her channel because she's a lawyer and she talks about the law a lot like I do. And she always has the legal paperwork or whatever. But yeah, when I met her, she was nice to me. And I told her, I said, well, I sent you an email about a year ago. And she was like, for real? And I said, I know you probably didn't get it because we all be getting so many emails or whatever. But she was being nice to me, but she was talking crazy to them. And at the end of the day, honey, like my thing is you turned out to be a whole Karen. That's why I said I was disappointed and shocked that she even acted that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so now with that all being said, let's talk about Biggie's son caught up in this lawsuit. You guys, I know this is probably a shock. Jay, have you heard about this?
Biggie, like Notorious B.I.G.?
His son.
Yeah. This is breaking news.
This is breaking news. I found this out right before I went live. Mm-hmm. So I absolutely.
And what is it? His son was involved? I mean, God,
we're going to get into it. Yeah, we're going to get into it. Measurement said she's not a lawyer. Well, she said that she's a lawyer, honey, that she went to an Ivy League law school or whatever. That's what her fiance said,
and
too.
Also, Queen, who gives a damn?
Right, exactly. Hold on. Let's talk about this real quick. Let's talk about the other lady who was actually a lawyer. Okay, so there was this another white lady. Now, she had on this bad suit. That suit was sharp, honey. You know, I know this fashion. She had on this beautiful white suit. And so I instantly noticed her when we were in line one day. She's standing over there by the golden doors. And so when we get inside, all of a sudden, she's in the line behind me. And I'm like, where'd you come from? No, matter of fact, she's in front of me. And I'm like, where'd you come from? And she was like, oh, I'm number so-and-so. And I'm like, no, you're not. And so because she took somebody's spot because they were still coming through the detector. Same scenario. Okay, so I'm telling her, lady, you are not in the damn line. I literally saw you standing by the gold door because I noticed your suit. And then she's like, I'm a lawyer. And she pulls out her little wallet. She's like, see, pulling out her credentials. I'm like, girl, I don't give a F who you are. You're not about to cut me. And so she's sitting there like, well, I used to work for the prosecution in this building. I said, I don't give a damn who you used to work for or who you are or who sent you. You're not getting in front of me today. Okay, so then this do starts. So then the marshal comes over And she's trying to convince the marshal to let her get in the line. So she's like, yeah, I'm a lawyer, used to work up here on such and such floor. And, I'm supposed to be in this line. I'm number so and so. And I said, she came through the side door. Now, she got easy access into here or early access, but she was not outside of the line with us. And the rule is whatever number you are outside, that's the same number you are inside. She does not even belong in the line. So he was looking like he was going to let her get away with it until another marshal came over and he looked and he was telling him what happened. He said, He said, no, just because she got access into the building. He said, some of these people have been out there since 2 and 3 in the morning. That's not fair. She's not getting in front of them. So once he said that, I knew we had her. But then she was still determined to try to squeeze in. So you know what I did? I got right in front of her ass. And then the person that was in front of me, which was Charlucci, I put my back up against Charlucci and I said, everybody just stand in a single file line and move to the right. So everybody bunched up like sardines.
Oh,
and moved
yeah,
to the
yeah.
right.
When that line, people were like,
Sam was all bunched. And then we left her ass on the left-hand side. And her face was so cracked when they counted out everybody that was going to the main, and she was not one of them.
right.
Girl, you're not about to cut me. I've been up here all day. Now you can miss me.
No, and there's been so many people who would come for the first time, like, oh my God, everybody is so rude. And like, I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, you're new to this, but you cannot be nice in this line or your spot will get taken, or you can get hurt. It's just you cannot, you can only relax, like I would say, when you get to that like, you're inside in the U.S. Marshal, like, okay, this is the top 11 or top 14, before a few influencers, they got to get on the list for the public just to let everybody know. So the list went from 14 to 11, where 11 of us still had to Hunger Game it out in the morning to get in this line. So the only time you could relax on 1 hour of sleep is when you got into that line and the U.S. Marshal like, all right, this is 11. They go 1, 2, count it down. And then you could be like, woosah, we are in the final line. We are getting in the courtroom.
Okay, let me say something, honey. They didn't want that smoke with me because I wouldn't have any of it. Your ass is not getting in front of me, honey. Okay, we're gonna have to throw some bows up in here. Okay, y'all know I'm about that life.
Real quick?
Yeah, she is.
Go ahead,
I saw you, Queen, a few times about that life.
Yeah, she is. Queen does not be playing no games.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because our audience is on here too. For those of you who don't know why this is important to be in the courtroom, this is a federal trial. So only the people who are in there, those are the only people ever in the history of the world that's going to be able to even give you an account. Like this is I don't care if you're a lawyer in Texas and you're commenting on this right now. You weren't there. You don't know. You're not seeing the stuff that we're seeing. That's why this is so important. So just so you guys know, like nobody is ever going to be able to see this ever again.
Right.
Yeah. No cameras.
That's true.
No cameras, no audio, nothing.
Yep.
Yeah. No, and I think I was saying that's what made our job so important is that because it wasn't televised, we said how Diddy was feeling. We described how he was, people had to almost like radio listen and hear our description. I enjoyed painting the picture of what I was seeing and feeling in the courtroom because it's not like the OJ where you could see it. You know what I mean? Like we knew what Judge Ito looked like, that he was a, kind of a chubby Asian dude, and Johnny Cochran and, all of them. But they had no idea in a sense what it looked like. And I had a real fun time, like Diddy giving the heart emoji to the crowd. You're like, oh, this is crazy. Like what, like if you could see that on live TV, people would be like, this is weird. This is crazy.
Yeah, you
definitely
guys are special.
Yeah, definitely different in person than even if it was, broadcasted on TV, but it's a federal case. And if you guys don't know, any federal case is not, cameras is not allowed, video photography. That's why they had the artist in there drawing the way Diddy looked and the way, the jurors and the judge and everybody was on the stand. So it's no cameras, just, you just have a eye memory, a visual memory of what happened for those who were there.
Absolutely. And KY85 says, You all are important to us. We applaud and appreciate you so much. Thank you,
Oh
beloved, for
yeah,
your
Thank
kind
you, and
words.
I'm
Thank
glad that you
nice.
you.
recognize that. Yeah,
I
hundred
love
percent.
her.
Mhm.
She was on my feed earlier. She's
Uh,
great.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about this whole thing with Biggie's son. Biggie's son, CJ, sued. You drove me to Diddy where he stuffed his meat in my mouth. This is all nefarious. Do y'all hear this? Let's talk about it
Biggie's
because this
son.
just came out about an hour ago. So I'm going to read this and then I'll let each one by one, starting at the top with the lounge, and then Jay and then Sam. We'll give our views on it. Okay, so with that all being said, the person accusing Diddy of tossing in, how do I want to say this? And be careful of certain words, you guys, when you're talking. You already know sexual or S assault, whatever.
Mhm.
Use, Okay,
Mhm.
so the person accusing Diddy of tossing an eman with an S. Okay, when somebody's on a cruise, when somebody's on a ship and they're in the Navy, they're called a seaman. Okay,
Love those guys.
this soaked Notorious B.I.G. shirt on him is also claiming that Puff had a notable accomplice acting as a henchman during a separate S assault. And that was Biggie's son C.J. Wallace. Now, according to the complaint filed during the 4th of July holiday, John Doe claims Biggie's son was among a group of men who lured him to a Revolt TV location in 2020 via a Combs Corporation's vehicle, where he says he was then ambushed and led to another room where Diddy was waiting. Now, as John Doe's head was held by others, he claims Diddy attempted to stuff his anus with a P into his mouth, all the while screaming at him that his days working for Bad Boy were over as punishment for clashing earlier. Now, John Doe believes the CC team snapped a photo of the event as humiliating evidence and says when he was able to escape back to the vehicle's location, CJ, an entrepreneur named Willie Mack, and other individuals were there to transport him home. Now, he claims he was forced to ride home with a taste of Diddy's soccer balls still lingering in his jaws. A traumatic experience. You,
Yeah.
you can remove the soccer, and that's what he said. This is also
Mm.
crazy. Now, anyway, he says, yeah, they were still lingering in his mouth. It's a traumatic experience.
Yeah,
The
that is
lawsuit
dramatic.
claims the lawsuit claims the abuse peaked a few days earlier with a Biggie T-shirt toss incident and another sit-down meeting where Diddy allegedly told John Doe uh, out of the blue that he was going to F the ish out of him and unexpectedly groped his genitals with a G. He claims CJ, Mack, and others had promised more business opportunities as restitution for his issues with Diddy, but it all turned out to be a ruse to get him graped. John Doe is pursuing damages from CJ and all other defendants. Okay, I don't know what to make of this. This sounds like a darn script for a movie. But what do you have to say, The Lounge?
I just have one question. Does it say who the lawyer was that filed this
Probably
lawsuit?
Tony Busby. It doesn't
Okay.
say.
That's
It does not
all.
say.
That's
But
what,
listen,
yeah, that's what
I'm
I'm
glad.
just, yeah, because every time these lawsuits that are like very, very like crazy, in nature, it's like Tony Busby, or it's like the same lawyers throwing these like salacious lawsuits out there. And I'm like, where are they getting all of this from? Like, we know Diddy is not, a good person, but I always tell my people, just because he's in, the MDC, we know he's a monster, but don't lie and say things that really never happened just because they're trying to like really pin him to the wall. So these lawsuits are like so bogus, and I mean, some of these lawyers, they need to be charged with wasting the court's time. I mean, with some of these lawsuits, I'm like, are you serious? Like, come on now, the stuff that they are saying in there. And then when they bring in his son, remember they bought one last week with his son, I think Justin, and then now
Yeah,
they're
right
bringing Biggie's
before the
son.
verdict. I mean, I saw Justin, right, when he
Hmm.
came into the courtroom, and I just couldn't help but think, like, that's just
Okay,
terrible.
now
Yeah.
conversations with Jay. What do you have to say about this?
If it's true, why didn't you go to the police?
Thank you.
Facts.
That's my first question.
Hmm.
Why is nobody ever this?
Going to the
If
police.
something like this happened,
Hmm.
okay, and myself being a victim of S assault, I went straight to the police.
Hmm.
I wanted justice. The person got 8 years in prison, and that's because they took a plea deal. But at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, if you're a real victim, you don't give a damn about money. You
Yeah.
care about that person being taken off of the streets. You
Mm-hmm.
want to take something from them because they took something from you. And it's usually not money. And even if you do go after them for money later, you would definitely go after them for criminal charges first. This
Mm-hmm.
all sounds crazy to me. And I'm going
Yes.
to tell you something else too. A lot of these people, and this was probably found, like Rice said, Busby or Tyrone Blackburn. I agree, because both of them are nothing but ridiculous ambulance chasers with no ethics, in
Mm-hmm.
my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but that's what I absolutely think. Sam, what do you have to say about it?
No volume. We can't hear
You're
you.
muted. You're muted.
My bad. I was muting the background, but I agree with you. I think Tyrone was the one who came and butt in line with like four of his friends. I remember early on, and I tried to talk to him, and he just said nothing. So that told me a lot about his character a little bit early on. And then Tony Busby, I tried to reach out to him forever because the same private investigators that came to my house asking me if anybody was paying me to make the anti-Diddy content or anti-celebrity content, they offered to pay me to stop if I was being paid by a company. Well, it ended up that was the same people that were going after Tony Busby's clients. Do you guys remember when that happened?
Yes, you were one of the ones that experienced that. I remember
I
I
reading.
was the
remember
one.
that.
There was other influencers like what's her name? Amala or whatever.
Oh
But
wow.
she said, here's Tony Busby, his Instagram. You see that dude with the glasses?
Uh-huh.
This guy or the other guy,
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And this is my backyard.
Oh wow.
Uh-huh.
Oh
Same dude. So this is from my
wow.
video. So Tony Busby. So we're connected in that sense. And I always reach out. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Yeah. I mean, at this point, it seems a little discredited when you have so many different lawsuits. You're like, was there really enough time for all this?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it
Because I was,
discredits the real victims. I think when you know, I
and
don't know.
another thing is, a lot of these people are straight up lying, because a lot of these people came out saying that oil was put on them and they passed out, and there was
Mm-hmm.
Right, and
illegal
the baby
substances.
oil was never spiked. I mean, that was
Yeah.
something we found out early on in the trial, which that was mind blown when it was like, no, these people were handed the drugs and took them. It wasn't. We thought you
Well, that's my thing. The
spray
feds
baby
never
oil,
said
and then you're like, okay,
anything.
take me, and
They never
that's
said anything about that.
no.
Okay, they never said anything about that. Jalen says dudes ain't going to no police for being assaulted.
Yeah,
Well, here's the
you're
thing.
right about that for some
No,
people.
I don't say he's right about that, because
I
you
don't
don't
know.
go to the police, but you're going to go to the law, file a lawsuit and go to court.
Let me tell you something.
How does
Maybe
that make
I
Yeah,
don't
sense?
know.
Caitlin,
A
I
man might be.
disagree.
I mean, I don't know.
I
A man, you might
disagree.
be so
I
scared that if
disagree.
somebody did that to you, what else would they do to you? And I might just
Okay, but here's
be
the thing.
quiet.
If you're
I don't
scared to
know.
go to the police, though, it still doesn't make sense no matter how you slice it. If you're
Yeah, but
scared to go
also,
to the police, how are you not scared to file a civil lawsuit? That doesn't make sense.
that doesn't make
Okay,
sense.
if I'm scared of somebody, I would
What
be
did you
more.
do?
Go
And what
ahead.
did you do to him? So this guy claimed that soccer balls was in his mouth.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do to him?
Mm-hmm.
How did you combat that? Right? You either handle it or you go to the police. But
Mm-hmm.
you don't wait for a civil lawsuit,
That's what you
a
don't do.
criminal trial, and then go
Mm-hmm.
and file a civil lawsuit. That's not what you do
That
when
doesn't
it's
make any
Mm-hmm.
true.
sense. And if
Yep.
you're so scared of somebody doing something to you, I would think you'd be more scared to try to go after their money. The police at least
Exactly.
can give you some level of protection, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
But going for a civil lawsuit, okay, for somebody you think is crazy that's going to do you harm, that doesn't even make any sense. These people I just don't believe some of this stuff.
And then,
Um,
how long ago did this happen? Because if he violated you, like you said, why didn't you go to the police if somebody
he said
violated
this
you? Why'd you
happened.
wait?
This happened in 2020. Why are you just now saying something, sir? 5 years later, like I'm not
Oh,
hearing this.
absolutely
Some of
not.
this stuff
After
Hey,
you
just be
done
all
got
cap.
soccer
hey,
balls in your
Queen,
mouth.
I have to
Yeah,
dip
that's
out and get
that's
ready.
bogus.
Okay, Sam. Thank you for tuning in, beloved.
No,
All
thank
right,
you guys
Sam.
so much for having me. It's always great talking.
Have a good
Absolutely.
one.
Okay. Catch
Bye.
you next time.
Okay, thanks.
All
All
right.
right.
Bye.
So now, with that all being said, yeah, I have questions. Okay, so now, Metro Man says the way Jay broke down that book, I sent it to other people. Do you know how many people finally stepped back and said most of these were lies for a best-selling book? You're talking about that fake Kim Porter book. I knew that was all cap because remember, I interviewed the liar who said that he had the flash drives and all of that.
Yeah, the one I forget his name, but yeah, he was very
Courtney Burgess.
yeah, Courtney Burgess. It was very questionable because that lawyer he had, once he went on one interview I watched. He went on a couple of YouTube tour, I call it. He was on YouTube tour, and I
Mhm.
forget what whose platform he was on. But what was really questionable to me is the lawyer when he was being, they were asking him questions on the platform, and then she jumps in and she's like trying to make sure she says certain words or certain things. And I'm like, where do they do that at? Like, can you just let him talk?
You're talking about her name is Ariel Mitchell.
Yeah, Ariel. And I'm like, if this is
She's being
really true,
sued for defamation.
yeah, if this is really true, let him tell the story. I understand lawyers have to come in and they kind of have to, kind of steer things a certain way. But it was like she was like not even giving him time to talk. So I was like, this is weird that he's in the car talking about he just came from the what's it called, from the court, from the grand jury. It was just a lot going on with that. And I'm like, a lot of these lawsuits, I mean they were bringing like truckloads of lawsuits about Diddy, and I'm thinking, why didn't they go to the police? Why didn't they tell? Just like with Mia, why didn't you tell somebody that you were raped? I was there in court for her testimony. And I'm like, these people are a piece of work. I don't know if they're getting paid by somebody or what the situation is. I have no idea, but it's very, very suspicious, y'all. I'm like, this is just some just ain't right? It's just,
Jay, what do you have to say about that? Did you hear anything about that book? I know you just started your channel recently, but what do you think about? Did you ever hear anything about the book and the guy saying he had the flash drives and he testified before the grand jury, Courtney Burgess and all that?
Yeah, that's the Kim Porter book, right? That he said that she was writing with him and he had all that. Yeah, I thought
Right.
it was. I'm not saying the stories are BS. I can't. I wasn't there, right? So I can't
mm-hmm,
Mhm.
say this was wrong or this was BS. What I can say is, if you are only coming, like Kim Porter's already dead, and she's been dead for a little while now.
mm-hmm,
So I just wonder if it's like when people say, I saw him grape a minor. Why are you only coming out now? It just says
mm-hmm,
something about your character that you could watch this happen to somebody and you
mm-hmm,
don't say anything.
mm-hmm,
So for me, I just think that's an indictment on your character. And if
mm-hmm.
you knew of this stuff and she was doing this, you should have been saying something. You should have been protected. To me, you are just as bad as the
Mm-hmm.
actual perpetrator because
I
you're seeing
agree.
all this stuff happen
Mm-hmm.
and you're just letting it go. And so that's where I come from.
Yeah, especially if it was a minor, because remember they asked him, was it a minor? And I'm like, and you didn't say anything. Like you said, you're just as guilty as the
Right.
person committing the crime, allegedly. That's just weird to me.
Okay, so now with that all being said, hold on, you guys. Charlucci did an interview. Also, Measure Man, thank you for your contribution to the channel, beloved, and your insight into the topic. Peace, love, and blessings. Adrian says, will the lawsuits influence the judge's sentencing? That's a good question, and thank you for your contribution, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings. I don't think so. It's not supposed to. It shouldn't. The lawsuits that have been filed shouldn't have anything to do with the judge's sentencing. And basically, the judge has asked that everybody, the defense and the prosecutors, hold on, just asked that the prosecution and the defense bring examples of cases of people that have been convicted of the Mann Act and how much time they got sentenced to when they didn't have any prior convictions. Okay, so that's what the judge is supposed to be going by. I mean, but really, in federal sentencing, you go by the guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with that all been said, from what I looked at on the website, Diddy's guidelines, because he's very low on the totem pole because he's never had any convictions, Diddy should get out in 21 to 31 months, in my opinion. What do you think about that, Jay?
I think that he'll probably get something within the sentencing guidelines. If the prosecution is only asking for 50 months or whatever,
Uh huh.
minus time served, I believe he'll get probably either time served or maybe an extra year or something like that. And to be honest with you, I've never been the biggest Diddy fan. I respect a lot that he's done, especially me, a black businessman. That he's broken down a lot of barriers and doors for people like me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a little bit young for the Diddy era, so I haven't really resonated with him, but this trial did make me appreciate him a lot more, with all the people that are going on the stand saying that he inspired them. His CFO was saying nobody was hiring people like me and all that. I only say all that to say I maybe think Diddy might benefit from a year or two in rehab. The prison has a rehab program, in therapy, in sitting down a little bit. And I think actually he could be an even bigger benefit to our society if he takes a little time to work on himself. So me personally, looking at how he could possibly benefit our community, if it takes time for him to just say, you know what, I'm gonna sit between these four walls. I'm gonna work on myself. I'm gonna get, closer to the Lord. I'm going to, make sure I get sober. I'm going to make sure that I find ways to help my community. So I think he might be even more of a better value to our society if he gets a year or two. So I'm not against that. Of course, his family would be. Of course, he would be. But me looking out for our community, if he has a year or two, I think to sit down a little bit, I think it might be beneficial to us all.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is Charlucci, Diddy's friend, actually did an interview today with the infamous Sylvia.
Oh,
Okay,
I
so
seen that. That was good.
I'm gonna play a clip of that, and I'm gonna put an overlay so I don't have any copyright issues. So let's go to that, and then we can give our thoughts on that as well. Hold on, let me just. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance.
That would be, funny. Based on, instead of popping a bottle of champagne, they pop baby oil. And, because the government made such a big deal out of the baby oil, like it was drugs in the baby oil. There was celebrity sex tapes. There was no celebrity sex tapes. There were no drugs in the baby oil. There was no children or no minor in this case. There was no kidnapping or all the stuff that they told people they were. This is why he was acquitted of those charges, because the charges couldn't stick. They wasn't true. But people of color, our people, we read into that. We believe people like the Tisha Tell's girl. I call her Tisha Tell Lies. She's never came out of that courtroom and said anything that was true. And I don't have like I said, I don't have a gripe with her, right? I got a gripe with the way she did not report the truth, and she misled a lot of people. She had a lot of files, but that didn't change anything, because people are entitled to their own opinion. But if you got a platform, use it for good. If you want to get out there, like when you go up there, you say what you say, right? I never say anything, because usually the stuff that you're saying, you're not biased. You're playing it. If it's something bad happens in court, you report that, right? If something good happens in court, report that. But if nothing happens in court, you report that. She just straight up, oh, if you're Sean Diddy Combs, you're going to this happen. And I'm like, that didn't happen. What courtroom was you in?
Okay, there's a point that she mentioned something about the family coming after her.
Never happened. We don't even know her. I know her because she worked for the government. She had her own. She's the only. I don't even call her a blogger. I don't know what her title is.
Y'all heard that? He said she works for the government. Okay, I'm sorry. Please pay attention.
But she's the only one that's not a real journalist that had a cage outside with 2 security guards, and she was able to come in out the courtroom. She was a guest of the government, right? And that's why she.
Whoa. You said guest of the government?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't. It means she's a guest of the government. Invited her in there and gave her security to keep her the little gated area she was in.
Yeah.
It was a gated area for her. Nobody can go in there but her when she was doing her interviews outside. She also was able to spread these lies and propaganda at free will. She just had a free for all. Then she started lying and saying
Why do you think when she gave out those names, the real name of the student name of
she didn't get in trouble?
she didn't get in trouble.
Right. That's that proof right there. They probably told her, don't ever do that again. That's what anybody else. The judge gave us a clear and precise information. Yep. The judge gave her a clear and precise information, right? To everybody, to all the news people reporting, and said, do not repeat the name of the, what if she, oh, guess what, guys? I know the name, and the person is this, the person is that. One, she's supposed to be, the site was supposed to come down. Two, she's supposed to at least be arrested, right? Because she wouldn't get a federal judge order.
Hold on, let me read this comment. IE Network said Gene Deal said there were minors and Puff was under investigation for a blank with an 11-year-old. I mean, come on. Well, obviously that's not true, because if the feds were coming at Diddy, don't you think they would have definitely brought something like that up when they came at him? See, this is how you know a lot of stuff is just lies and BS and rumors. If they were coming at Diddy so hard that they already overcharged him with the RICO and all of that, the S trafficking, don't you think that if they had that kind of information on him, they would have brought that forward at the end of the day? And also in 2011, James Roseman, Jimmy Henchman, was asked by the feds, okay, if Diddy had any type of relations with minors, because there was a rumor then. Okay, so nothing ever came of that. So if they're going after this man, don't you think if they had proof of those things, that would have come to fruition? Like, people need to stop believing rumors and innuendo. Okay, Byron said they were protecting Tisa so she could tell her lies in peace.
Yo, does anybody in the chat know if Gene Deal has ever had a job since Diddy's security guard? Has
His
he had a
job
job?
is
He's done nothing, right?
Yeah, his job is going around doing YouTube interviews, dragging Diddy.
Yeah, you were Diddy's security guard 19 how long ago, and now that's your life. Is just talking about Diddy from 2000, 2003. I already told on my channel. I'll tell Gene Deal on your channel. If you have a problem, come and see me, bro. I'm in New York. You're in New York. Come and see me. Like, you are a fraud, and I think that you are one of those. You're a male Tisa. You're a male Tissa.
Okay, that makes sense to me. I have
You're
to
a male
agree.
Tissa.
So Byron, thank you for that. Was hilarious, and I absolutely agree with you, beloved. So she could tell her lies in peace. And thank you for your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, y'all hear Jay calling out Big Gene, said he lied. Okay, so listen, liars, birds of a feather stick together. Somebody said Gene's jealous of Diddy. At the end of the day, somebody said he's just a liar. Somebody said Gene mad because he got kicked out of the group.
Gene Deal didn't quit. He got fired. Just like everybody who was on the stand, like Capricorn Clark, like the next one. The only ones that spoke the truth are the ones that actually had to quit over time. But everybody else who got fired, they're just salty.
Yeah, and that's what the jurors said. That guy who's going around doing the videos, he said he felt like it felt like it was retaliation or something, like they were mad. Basically, I forgot how he worded it, but basically that's what he said too. They felt like it was payback.
Oh wow. That juror, the one that went on, I didn't watch that full interview. The one that went on, I think, was a CNN.
There's only one of them. That was the alternate juror.
Oh, okay. Because has any of the other jurors spoke yet?
No, they haven't said a word.
Wow.
Nothing happened to her. Nothing, not one thing. Look, that'd have been me, and that's my family in there. I'd have said something, it'd have been all kind of backlash. If the lawyers would have said something, they'd have stopped me from coming to the courtroom. Yeah. She had a prominent spot in the courtroom. And she's not even real press. And then she goes on TV lying. Ain't nobody coming after that girl. Please stop. Nobody's thinking about that lady. The family coming after for what? All you did was lie on people. Like, you just a female Gene Deal. You're just out there lying to get people to click onto your site. That's what you're doing. Nobody cares about it. I don't care.
I agree.
We won. You look stupid.
Hold on, Jay. What are the chances? He literally said what you just said. I didn't even know that.
I've not seen this video.
I haven't seen it either. I know Sylvia did it. It popped up in my feed, and I was like, okay, this should be good. So I said I'm gonna show a clip of it. So I just went to a timestamp on here. But that's crazy. I just picked a random timestamp. I know he did not say the same thing.
You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's it. So go get mad about that. Go get mad at your team, your government. Go get mad at them for presenting a weak ass case. Don't start spreading lies. She's mad because she promised everybody he's going to jail for the rest of his life. Well, guess what? Joke's on you. Tisa tell lies.
She also mentioned recently that there is some sort of scheme of Diddy trying to escape the prison.
How is he trying to escape prison? He only have to do 9 months in jail.
Did you hear that one yesterday, Jay? She said did a video. They said I didn't see it, but they said she did a video saying Diddy's secret plot to escape
Yes,
prison. Feds warned.
I seen it,
He
and she
told me
was.
that today.
Yeah, and the
I
guy
didn't
was
see the
like,
video, but he told me that that was the title of the video.
yeah, and the guy was like, this guy, Delray Richardson was going in on her,
Oh
and he
yes,
was
he
like,
did
what
a
is
good
this
one.
prison break hip hop edition?
Yeah,
This is
he went
crazy.
What
in.
you ain't?
It's
You're
crazy.
not escaping. You're not escaping no federal prison. El Chapo couldn't get out of there. What are you talking about? You got all kind of people. That building is like Fort Knox. There's no escape. Why would you say where he's gonna go? He's one of the most recognizable faces on the planet Earth. Where would he go? How would he get away? She's a liar. Something wrong with that lady.
Maybe.
That's crazy. And so he's gonna risk. Now let me be clear. He just beat cases that could have got him millions and hundreds of years in jail, right? He's gonna risk that. He already been in jail 10 months, going on 11 months. Worst case scenario, he's got to do another 9 months. He's going to risk all of that, his freedom, his money, his children's money, his legacy to escape jail or to attempt to escape jail. That lady's crazy. And she know people click on and stuff like that. She's clickbait.
I went from irregular eating, fatigue, and the
absolutely.
gym 6 times a week.
Charlucci said, "Go run and tell that."
Okay, so hold on. I'm gonna pause for a second to read a couple of comments. Measure Man says, then he said Diddy should unalive himself. Gene is sick, and he and Tisa and Jag deserve each other. This is all crazy. Thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings. Somebody, Elijah Clark says, Tisa tell lies, been spreading lies, and she does have a plug with someone close to the case. Facts. How did she know about Diddy's apology video before everyone else and when it went public? Because Tyrone Blackburn told her that. Okay, Tyrone Blackburn, that's who her source was. At that time, that's before the trial. And now, where is he at? Got arrested, okay, for backing into the process server because his behind was getting sued.
So do you think anything's gonna come begun? Anything gonna happen of her because of her lying and causing so much chaos?
No, we're going to keep discrediting her and tell her that's it.
Discredit.
Right, that's it. We're gonna keep discrediting her. I mean, every lie she tell, I'm gonna be here to fact check it and show people she's lying. That's it. I mean, nobody cares about this lady. She's not a problem. She's not even a problem for me. But just that when people ask me a question, I like to answer it, and then I tell them, go check her out and watch. She says this, and then compare it to the truth.
But it seems like people like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, those are toxic people. You gotta be toxic to want to hear lies all the time. Yeah, you want to hear that clickbait stuff all the time, and she's animated. I think that's what they like more about her. She's a nice looking lady, right? She's a nice looking lady, but she's not wrapped too tight. Something wrong with her. For you to go out there and lie on people you don't know and make up stuff, and I mean, this is easy as her. Is as easy it is for her to come outside and tell a lie. She can come out that courtroom and just tell the facts. What happened?
Maybe she was doing things for wishful thinking.
There ain't no wishful. I don't care. Still a lie. I don't care how you doing it. I don't care what if it ain't the truth. If I tell you, if you ask me, is it raining outside, and I tell you no, and you walk outside to a storm, you're gonna say Charlucci lied to me. You're gonna like, oh well, he liked the rain. He was hoping it rained. You're like, he straight up lied to me. There's no ambiguities there. I lied to you. It's not raining. I mean, it's not sunny out. I told you it was raining, and it's not raining. You went outside. You're like, wow, I thought he said it was raining.
So you're saying that he's gonna get like your estimate about no more. The worst scenario is 9 months.
Right. Well, I'm not the judge.
I know.
Well, based on his level, he's a level 14, first time offender. Had he been in jail, he's not a predicate. Had he been in jail before, it will be higher. You follow me? But because he's never been in jail before, he gets the first time and I can send it to you. You can look at it yourself. The sentencing guideline says 0 to 24 months. That's why the government asked for 56 months, and then Mark Agnifilo came back, Agnifilo, and that's nothing. She keep pronouncing Mark. I said that because she be saying that, Mark Agnifilo, adding extra syllables on this man's name. His name is Mark Agnifilo. So Mark Agnifilo asked the judge for 24 months. And the government got mad about that because they put in for 56 months. So I think the judge may give him time served or meet somewhere in the middle.
All right. Some of the things that has gone on, a lot of people saying that Diddy is getting it's like karma. It's coming back to him for stuff that he did not get in trouble for, which
Like
he
what?
should have. Like, okay, one of the things people blaming him for Biggie's
Come on,
death.
stop. We not.
No, I'm just.
But I'm saying
Okay.
That's foolish. That's foolish. The government ain't. Y'all gotta be smart. If the government, y'all think y'all smarter than the government? Y'all think y'all smarter than the federal government or the FBI? Don't y'all know if they thought that he did that to Biggie or did that to Tupac, that that's what he'll be being charged with? Don't you understand that? Y'all gotta use your brain. The federal government want to put this man in jail for the rest of his life.
Hey, Queen,
they went so far to put him in jail. They try to blame him for having sex with 2 of his girlfriends.
Yes, beloved, go ahead.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm gonna forget. Yo, you see what he just said? You think you're smarter than the government, you think you're smarter than the lawyers,
Right.
But also the jury and a lot of people like Tissa and a lot of these other people who say he's guilty, the jury's stupid. How could it? This jury is scientists and engineers. And like the jury, listen, the jury's smarter than you. If you're looking at this video right now and you're telling me, oh wow, the jury got it wrong, they're so stupid and what, this jury is more educated than you. Just to let you know.
That's right. They're much more educated than you.
This was a very educated jury. I think it was a molecular scientist, accountants. Like I think one was something to do with law enforcement. Like the jury knows more about the law than you. So just as he said that, it just triggered that thought in my head because my boy, I didn't come up with this. My boy told me about this. The jury's more educated than the average person.
Here it is right here, Jay. I'm going to read it. The jury in Sean Diddy Combs' trial included individuals from diverse professional backgrounds. Some jurors as an actor and massage therapist and an investment analyst, a physician's assistant, and a social worker. Others held positions such as an analyst for a bank, a treatment coordinator, and an architect. There was a clerk, a correctional facility communications worker, a nursing home aide, and yeah, one of them was like a scientist.
Right. Like, so if you're there, like a Tissa fan or something like that, maybe you're on here right now. The average juror on this jury is likely more smarter than you, more qualified than you, because they were there every day. Their job was to weigh everything equal, and they have more education than the average person. So it's likely that they probably got it right, and you probably got it wrong.
Yeah, facts. You're right, and it just like I was listening to one of the content creators saying, they took the time out of their time to be a part of the jury. They could have said they had medical reasons or whatever, but they stayed and they did their they served their time as jurors. And to be called dumb, ignorant, stupid, whatever they're calling them, that is just disrespectful. I mean, at the highest level.
Right. And the reason why I brought up the Tissa, obviously, because Charlotte, I don't like talking about this Tissa person, and I don't like talking about people who. But the reason why I brought up that is because she called, and you can go back into our videos, she called the jury a BA jury, BITCHASS jury.
Oh, she did?
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I didn't know that. I know she
called it.
Yo, if you're on here, please send Queen the video so she can play it on the live. She called them a BA jury, BITCHASS jury. So I'm sitting here like, the jury is more educated than you. They're smarter than you, more life experience. They're older than you because the average age of the jury is 50-some years old.
Wow.
And they're all more educated than you, but you call them a BA jury because you got exposed for lying.
I didn't know that.
I knew she had called them ignorant, but I did not know she
Yeah.
said that. She
That's what
really
she
was
said.
going hard. Honey, she
Yeah.
is mad.
I'm gonna have
Listen,
to look that up.
VM said Tisa is the Donald Trump of YouTube.
Hey,
Her name is on fire on YouTube,
hey,
and
VM,
Ooh,
VM, I think you're giving her too much credit, and I'm not a Trump fan or supporter, but I think
okay.
you're giving her too much credit. She never got a billion.
wow.
She never did any of this stuff. And I will say one thing about this girl: she works very hard, but and that's as far as I can go with the compliment. But you can, but you can't continue to lie
Mm-hmm.
in order to forward
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can't do that. It's just
Mm-hmm.
very bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't want to say anything bad about people, but y'all know me.
Right.
But
Yeah,
it's just
but
not right. It's not right.
it's
That's
It
all
not.
I'm saying.
isn't right. And here's the thing.
It's not
The
right.
whole story about Diddy's, the accusations, starting from November of 2023 with Cassie filing the lawsuit, all the way down to the trial concluded. All of everything that happened in between that transpired with the whole beginning, from the beginning, middle, and end, was already salacious enough. It
Right.
was always something to report. It was always something that was, breaking news or whatever. So nobody needed to embellish or make up anything. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why she did it, other than the fact that she's just a pathological liar, because she's been lying even before the Diddy story came out. She's
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
lied about other things as well. So I think she's just a liar. But like someone said the other day on their channel, they said that, when she's saying, you heard it here first, which she stole from me. That's my catchphrase I've been saying forever. But when she says that, they said, of course, you're going to hear it from her first, because when she creates the story, of course, she's going to say it. She's going to be the first one to say it. But then they said, go and check and see if any other major outlets are reporting these stories. Like the $60,000 that she claims some people were paid by the defense.
Oh
She's
yeah.
the only one who reported that for the transcripts. Now, mind you, if anybody was paid $60,000 and she knows that, so you don't
Mhm.
think TMZ would have known it, ABC, CNN?
Yeah.
Nobody else
Exactly.
reported that but
She
her.
just lies. And somebody, one of our subscribers, I think the IE network is also one of our subscribers, says stop complimenting her. I can't take it, Jay. And I'll tell you, my team says the same thing. I don't want it to come off as a compliment. When you work hard for good or you work hard for evil, you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna get the same result, which is
Mm-hmm.
success.
Right.
You'll
Facts.
get,
You're
but
absolutely
you
right.
don't get respect.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get
Right.
Exactly.
respect. So if you work hard for good, you will get success. You work hard for evil, you will get success. But only one of them gets you respect.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
true.
And then listen, IE Network says this woman stole 100K from the Shanquella Robinson story. She lied on Jay-Z. She lied and said Puff sleep with
Mm-hmm.
his own daughters. I mean,
Correct.
how does anyone compliment this woman? Here's the
Mm-hmm.
thing. She did grift. I didn't know how much money it was, but they absolutely said that she grifted off that Shanquella Robinson story. That's
Mm-hmm.
real crazy. Had that man on her channel lying, saying the man was working on the case, there's going to be an arrest, and had people sending money. And then I heard they split the money. Now, I didn't even
Oh,
know who she was at the time of all this was supposedly going on. But
yeah.
that's just all shameful behavior at the end
I
of the
heard
day.
that too. I barely started following her. I think it was like maybe last year, but what you just said, I did hear somebody recently saying that as well, and I'm like, goodness.
Measured Man says she's the P. Diddy of YouTube because she can't stop, won't stop lying.
Somebody said that she just mad because she got kicked out the freak offs. I'm like, y'all are crazy. Y'all
I
are a
am so
mess.
through. Measure Man, thank you for that, beloved. That was a good laugh. And thank you for your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Special Case says she's very dangerous with her lies. Exactly. People
Mm-hmm.
who tell pathological or who are pathological liars can, in fact, be dangerous. Okay. Because
Mm-hmm.
one thing about it, they will lie even when everybody else already knows they're lying and calls them out on it. They'll still double down.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's very
Right.
dangerous. Byron says she's a scammer.
Yes, I
Okay.
believe
She
that.
is.
I
Cause
believe
she
that, Byron, because she was when she was first there at the courthouse, and she was doing all the reporting, and she was like, thanks for the super chats. I spent all of my money to come down here, and then she was like, oh, I think there's a super chat coming in, and then she looked, and it was no super chat. So she was like trying to trying to get her people to give super chats by saying that. I'm like, she is a whole scam artist. I'm like,
Hold on. The IE network said she lied and said he was in Mexico. The guy she had on her channel for Chinquela said
uh-huh.
she lied and said he was in Mexico and the bum was standing in front of a green screen.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I heard that too. Honestly, this is all a hot mess.
No,
So
Oh
they said Tisha is a
wow.
tarot card reader.
and
Yeah, well, those tarot cards, she must not be reading them too good because she was reading tarot cards before when she first started her channel. Um, but
real quick, Queen. So I just want to let you guys know before. I mean, I only met you and I only saw your content since I met you, right?
right,
And the lounge, right?
Yes,
That's
the
okay.
lounge.
The
Mm-hmm.
lounge. Yeah, just to let you guys know, I can't see anything that goes on the screen. I can't
Mm-hmm.
see anything. I can just see the three video because I'm
Mm-hmm.
on my
okay,
iPad, and I can just
Okay.
see the three videos and then the
Mm-hmm.
whatever you're sharing with this video. But
Mm-hmm.
I just want to let you know, um, I didn't know what Queen's perspective on this whole case was before she got here because I'd never heard of her before because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not usually in this kind of space.
Mm-hmm.
I met her. We went for probably lunch once and dinner once in the group.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay.
uh-huh.
Or maybe even three times, but you know, two or three times we went.
Yeah,
And you and I had a conversation, KHAN versation. You and I
okay,
had a
right,
conversation about how much you dislike Puff.
right,
And yes, and then we had a conversation about Pac versus versus Puff, all that kind of stuff. We had it
yeah,
at the table with everybody around.
we sure
Everybody
did.
was quiet at the table, and it was just us two having a conversation because we went to another level that people couldn't get to. Not that they couldn't get to because they're not on on our level, but not everybody's from the same place and not everybody has the same experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So we were with a very respectful group. A Secret Service Sam was there, I believe, and they were like, okay, so they're talking about this, right? And I'm not gonna go through the entire conversation unless you want to do it later on, but if you are here and you're like, oh well, originally she was against Pac and now, sorry, against Puff, and now she's like, this is all nonsense. It's because she's keeping it real. It's because she's keeping it real. Somebody like this Tissa person, they get proven wrong. Like I actually had a bad take, and they can't change it. They
Mm-hmm.
can't. They have to keep sticking to it, and they look more and more and more foolish by
That's
Mm-hmm.
right.
staying with it, sticking with the lies. In Trinidad, I'm from Trinidad. We call it wrong and strong. You're playing wrong and strong. It's like you're just trying to stick to. Just stop. Just be like, you know what, guys, I was incorrect here, and you have more credibility.
Mm-hmm.
So I just anybody on here, like if you're probably on here because obviously on here because of Queen, but she keeps it real. That's all I want to say. Not
Thank
just to
you.
big you up, but just to show the contrast.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate you. And listen, a couple of people got mad at me because of that, because they were like, oh, Queen, you were against Diddy at first. I said, yes, I was.
Mm-hmm.
And because I always felt like he had something to do with Pac. But then I said, wait a minute, that's rumors we heard. We don't even know if that's true. And if
Mm-hmm.
the government really thought so
Mm-hmm.
themselves, they would have him on trial for that. That is a life sentence, like
Mm-hmm.
Charlucci said. But also, when I got there to the court and I started seeing the racial components of certain things that were happening, and I started seeing how the prosecution was allowing people to get up there and tell lies. Now, they knew these people were going to be lying because they interviewed them multiple times,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
but you still allowed them to get up there and tell lies. And then how every time the defense would make a very relevant objection, how very often the judge would overrule them but sustain the prosecution for something that I felt like should absolutely have been relevant.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like there were racial components being at play, and I also felt like they were trying to railroad Diddy because when you look at it, and as the evidence unfolded, and more testimony came, more witnesses came forward, it just wasn't adding up. And then after I saw that most of these people are lying, and then they're all given immunity. Some of them
Mm-hmm.
had several lawsuits against Diddy, so that means that you have an incentive to lie.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Okay, you have an incentive to lie. And then, people would say, well, the defense, they were good at poking holes in the story. Yeah, they were. But here's the thing: when you think about it, if you didn't have any holes in your story, they couldn't poke any holes because the truth stands firm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
at the end of
lies
the
always
day.
change. Truth never,
Yeah.
it always stays the same. Lies always change. Truth stays the same. And one more thing, what Maureen Comey was saying, which I felt like this is a New York jury. They're not gonna buy this, and I was right. She kept saying, these women don't have a reason to lie. Cassie already got her 20, $30 million. She got 10 from the thing. This is that. Jane's never sued him. These women have no reason to lie. And I was thinking in my head, if I catch you lying, I don't have to find out why you lied.
Exactly.
You don't need I don't need to. I don't need to do the extra step to say, well, what was the reason for lying? You lied. Whatever reason that is, that's your reason. Whatever weird thing that is in your head, that's your reason. It's
That's
not
right.
I already caught you lying. And for those of you guys who weren't in the trial, all three of us were in the trial. There were a lot of lies on the stand.
Very
Yes.
much so.
Yes.
Very much so.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. Mia, I was there for Mia's testimony. So like I said, I will forever talk about Mia's testimony and what she was saying. And I felt like, sometimes people, they will holler grape, they'll holler whatever when it's convenient for them. And I felt like that's what Mia was doing. I felt like she was kind of like the other woman of Cassie and Diddy's relationship. And she didn't want Cassie to know because, Cassie, from what we heard on the stand that, Cassie and her was calling each other like sisters or whatever. So you don't want your sister to know that you're sleeping with her man. So that's how I took on to Mia's, testimony. And the way she was with her head down like this is like her head was testifying. It was like she was ashamed, like she was like lying. And I'm like, girl, if you don't stop, I'm like, you lying and the truth ain't in you. Like, really?
Hold on. Nicole said she told enough lies, talking about Tisa. She told enough lies to qualify for a RICO.
I see that. I see that. That is funny. That's
And then Measure Man said she shut her psychic website down last month. Y'all are crazy. Okay, everybody's just been going in on her. And here's the thing, it is just so hilarious that, if one or two people said something, you could say, well, maybe maybe there's some truth to it, maybe not. But if you have all these different people coming out saying stuff, now you got people that, her subscribers want to say, oh, y'all are just hating.
Yeah.
But with all of these people saying that everybody's not hating, and then you have people who have nothing to do with YouTube, like Charlucci, saying that she's a liar. Then you had the S worker that interviewed with Tasha K said she lied on him.
Wow.
So you have people that don't have any dog in the fight. They don't have any reason to come out and call this woman a liar.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
what I always say too, real quick, is, I always say when somebody is a common denominator, you got a million people and they're saying divided by Tisa tells, you're the common denominator. You're the only common denominator. It's Tisa this, Tisa that, Tisa. I'm like, golly, I'm telling you, y'all, everybody was cooking her so much. I'm telling you, when you had your live, I was over there. It's like, oh yeah, Queen's over here cooking some turkey, some dressing, some greens. I go up to the next one. I'm like, I'm eating some meatloaf and mashed potato. I'm telling you, I was getting full because so many people, like you said, people I didn't even know, it's just popping up on my feeds. I'm like, I don't know this person. I'm not asking Jamil.
She was trending.
Yeah,
she was trending for lying.
Heavy.
Now, here's the thing. And if she wasn't lying, somebody that was there, boots on the ground, would be defending her. And nobody is. Because everybody knows she's been lying. Now, with that being said, I want to say this. This is the last thing I want to say about her lies. So, I don't know where she came up with the figure, the $60,000. And she said that people were given transcripts by Diddy's team with talking points and had highlighted talking points on it. Here's the thing. This is what people need to realize. They did give the transcripts out. And the reason they gave out the transcripts, because like I told you guys, when Megan Cuniff was there and I interviewed her, I asked her for the transcripts. She told me I could get them from Holly. And she told me to just give Holly my email. Okay. Now, Holly was giving people the transcripts. The thing is this. If you're reading the actual transcripts, you're going to get exactly what was said and what went on in the courtroom. So even if they told people read the transcripts, which they didn't, but even if they had, what's that going to do to help them? You're only reading what actually happened. Now, the reason Tisa said that is to make her subscribers think that that's why she's not going to read them. She was like, the transcripts cost $1,500 to $2,000. And she's like, I wasn't going to take them from when they offered them to me. And she's like, I wasn't going to do anything for them. No, you don't want to read them and you don't want your subscribers to purchase them or get them. That's why she lied about how much they cost, because you know that if they read them for themselves, then they're going to see that much of what you said was all lies and BS.
Exactly.
You just made up stuff. And for her to sit there and say that Ratchet or me or whoever threatened to kill her, that is very dangerous. Do you all know Ratchet started getting threats behind that?
Wow. And I think
Black man said that he was going to kill you Yes, he started getting threats behind
I
that
had no
online.
idea. Wow,
So
that's
that's how
crazy.
dangerous that is. You know, some people have super fans on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
I've been threatened before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my
Wow.
thing is, when you say things like that, that's really caring behavior. You're sitting up here lying, saying somebody threatened to kill you. Oh, we're gonna do you worse than Diddy did Cassie. Nobody said
Mm.
that. She doesn't
Yeah.
have any proof. She never shows any receipts. And the
Mm-hmm.
thing about it is, her people believe her so much that she doesn't even have to prove anything or verify the stuff that
Yep.
she says.
Yeah, because she's programmed them. Have you ever heard that, like, programming, like the news programs you this, like, we were programmed about the Diddy trial,
Well,
about
that's why she
everything.
spews
It's
propaganda.
programming. She's programming her people. But I do want to say this. Remember, we were in the courtroom on the second day. I was there with I forget who, Garcia, and I think the CFO. Remember that day,
Eddie
that morning?
Garcia and
Yeah.
and Puff CFO, yes.
Yeah, remember in the morning, Queen. Remember, it was the MTA lady on the last pew. Remember, it was the
Right.
MTA
She was
lady.
sitting next to me.
Yes, it was you.
Uh-huh.
It was my hubby Jamil, and it was me. And then
Right.
it was some little young college girl, and then it was Tisa Tales. Wasn't the judge on the stand when all of that went down? Court was in session, right?
Yeah,
Court was
because
in
she went when
session.
she went off. I knew when she went off that day. She said, "Diddy, they're laughing at you. Even the judge is laughing at you." So the
Yeah.
judge was absolutely on the stand. Court was in
Yes.
session. Well, court wasn't actually in session because the jurors weren't there yet.
Yeah, but the
But
judge
the
was
judge was
on.
on the stand.
Yeah, okay. I thought court was in session. I couldn't remember, so I may be wrong. But yeah, I remember her saying, yeah, okay, court wasn't in session. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought court was in session. I thought the judge was talking, or maybe it was after the judge had said what he was saying after the situation. But
Yeah, the judge was on the stand. They had brought Diddy in. The
mhm,
judge was on the stand, and she's sitting next to me. The man got into it with her, the marshal,
mhm,
about her wearing that hat. And
mhm,
he told her she had to take the hat off. She goes to the restroom, comes back with a scarf on, and
mhm,
then she starts talking to herself. And that's when I knew she's about to start something. And
mhm,
so then that's when she gets up and starts saying, "Oh, they trying to tear down this black man's legacy and all this and that."
mhm.
But yeah, the judge was absolutely on the stand that day.
Yeah.
Another thing is, Jay, do you remember? Do you all remember, both of you, when well, you weren't there, the lounge, but Jay, do you remember when the lady Jane Doe, after her testimony, she got off the stand and she hugged both the prosecution and she
Yes,
hugged
both
Tony
of them. Yeah.
Garagos?
And
Okay, they
she
said,
and I think originally the lawyer that was hired for her was from Agnifalo's team.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So with that being said, when we brought that up later, they said that Tisa said that she never hugged her.
Yes, she
Like she
did.
just lied and told her people
Yes,
that
she
she didn't
did.
hug her.
If
And I
I
was like, yeah, she
if my
did.
memory serves me correctly, she hugged her first. She might not have hugged her first. I don't remember, but she
Yeah,
hugged her.
she did because
She hugged her first.
I remember getting on the elevator and one of those ABC reporters got smart with me because they didn't like me, honey, because I would just let them have it and I would just tell it like it was. I wasn't pushing false narratives. They only
Mhm,
liked the people that were pro prosecution and were
mhm,
just pushing the same narrative as they were. Because if you notice, they never not once acted as though the defense was having a good day.
mhm,
They never not once. At least I could give the prosecution, their praises when they did a good job. I'd
mhm,
say, okay, the prosecution did good today. I said, now, when they had their closing arguments, I said they did good. They brought up a lot of key points. And I said, now, the defense is going to have to come back strong tomorrow. Even
mhm,
though the
Right.
prosecution's was a little boring because she was just standing there reading. But I said the defense is going to have to come hard. But the prosecution did do a good job, which I felt like they did. But the bottom line is, I just thought it was crazy because the lady from ABC was in the elevator, and after Jane Doe hugged Teeny, I got on the elevator and I said, y'all didn't find it interesting how Jane Doe hugged Teeny after she was just going in on her on the stand and cursing at Teeny? And then
mhm,
the lady was like, one of the ladies was like, have you been paying attention? And I said, yes. She said, well, if you were paying attention, then you would know that she already met with the defense first. And so she has a report with them. And I'm thinking, what the hell does that have to do with her hugging Teeny when
Had
she
to
got
do
off the
with
stand?
hugging them because
yeah,
it doesn't have anything to do with hugging them. First of all, if my recollection serves me correct, the jury was still in the courtroom. They weren't dismissed yet. She was dismissed, then the jury was dismissed.
Right.
Right? So what was she doing hugging the defense attorney after she just got torn up on
Got
the
done
stand.
testifying before she
Right.
walked out.
Exactly.
And that's why I was shocked. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because that just looked like, wait a minute, what's going on here? You
Yeah,
know, and she's
something ain't
playing
right.
both sides. So that's what it
Mhm.
kind of seemed like to me.
So
Mhm.
my team just sent me this. I've been texting and telling me to, because a lot of people didn't believe that this was set. But let me just turn off this background. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna turn off my
Okay.
background just so you guys can see the full video. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna put an overlay because I don't want her hitting me with a copyright strike, honey. I'll put an overlay. Or you can
Yeah.
just play the audio.
Okay. Yeah, I'll play the audio.
Yeah, just play
She
the
posted
audio.
Deontay's letter and then she posted this in her IG. Clearly, so
You guys can hear it, right?
Yeah, we can hear it
Yeah.
good.
All right.
many people don't understand how terrifying this is for some of us. Deontay sums everything up in his letter to the judge. This is who that ass jury let out. Excuse my French.
One more time.
Wow.
Bitch ass jury.
One more time.
Oh
Last time
no,
I
she
promise.
didn't.
This is for some of us. Deontay sums everything up in his letter to the judge. This is who that bitch ass jury let out. Excuse my French.
I'm
Mhm.
telling you. So
Oh
that's
Why
my
what I
is
was.
she
God.
so
Oh
why is she so
wow.
mad?
I think I'm not no doctor or anything, y'all, but clearly I'm getting the vibe from her of something is really, her. I always tell my loungers, like, some people's elevator don't go all the way to the top, and this is a case of the elevator is not going all the way to the top.
I
I don't
think she
know
has
if this
mental health issues.
trauma, yeah, childhood trauma or some type of mental, is she like a victim of a situation that she's feeling like she could step in because she was a victim, or I don't know, but something just ain't right with homegirl. I'm just saying now.
That's crazy. Caramel said, Tisa lost a bonus after this verdict, LOL. Okay, I think she did because she is butthurt. She
Yes,
called them a bitch ass jury.
that's crazy.
Wow,
You
she
know
is
what?
really pressed.
What really got me now, sometimes when people get upset, you get fired up. But, like, as we grow older, we know how to kind of hold our mule. If you guys, have ever heard that term.
Yeah,
But when she told, I think it was Gerald, when he asked her a question and she said, "You just mad because Diddy won't let you suck
suck
his."
his dick.
I
I
was
was
like,
like, wait a minute.
I always say when people move towards insults, when you're telling the truth or you're right, you don't have to diss people. You don't have to call
Right.
them out their name. You don't have to
mm-hmm,
put them down. You know you're
yeah,
That's
telling the
right.
truth. It's
yeah.
always a sign that, oh wow, okay, so
Mhm.
you're on, you know what I'm saying? So
And that's why I always take, when I go on my channel with my people, if I'm saying something, I always tell them, "Hey, correct me if I'm wrong." I believe in constructive criticism. I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect. I always say I got flaws too. But if I'm saying something that isn't like true, if I can recollect something and say I can remember, if I can recall, but correct me if I'm wrong. But some people, they don't, whatever that comes out their mouth, they think mentally that they're always right because they've been like that all their life.
right. And then
Right.
they
Now,
double and triple and quadruple down.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they stand 10 toes down on their lies.
Yeah.
Now, Measurement says, what lie do we begin with? They shut down security because of her. People were foaming at the mouth. We're going to do like Cassie did Diddy and worse.
So
I,
Charlucci said that, and I actually, and I've spoken a lot to Charlucci throughout the
Okay.
trial. I've
mhm,
spoken a lot to him. He's on my channel too. I've spoken a lot to him. I
mhm,
disagree with him. First of all, she wasn't gated off. They put those gates there. The gates were already there anyways. And then
mhm,
her little security that she hired, because her fans are delusional and they just give her money, so she had money to do it.
mhm,
Um, she put she put that there. It
mhm,
wasn't like the courts put it there or
mhm,
court officials put it there or the
mhm,
marshals put it there. It was just her little security. She had one security guard at first, and
mhm,
then she got two security guards. So just so you guys know, but Charlucci, he don't know about all that because he's dealing with the lawyers.
mhm,
He's in the trial. So he just sees that she's gated out. But
mhm,
those, I could have did the same thing.
mhm,
I could have did the same exact thing.
But
And
here's
the
the thing
way,
though, Jay. Those security guards that she had that day that she claims were armed, those people had on those communications devices, they weren't like her regular security, because that big black guy, he was regular security.
That
Those
guy that I'm talking
security
about.
were something else.
You're
And
talking
Mm-hmm.
I,
about the other white guy, and
the
there was
two
like a
of them,
white.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think
And
there might have
she
been two
said it
white
on
guys.
Nancy Grace. She called him Jim and Terry or Tim and
Yeah, that was the
somebody.
Yeah.
last day. You're talking about the last day.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she called their names out.
yeah,
But she
she
was
said, but
she
we
was in
had,
that little gate thing the entire time. Like,
She was
well, not the entire
like,
time, but you
well, that
probably
was
the
the
second half
last
of the trial.
day.
yeah,
Right,
after the verdict was read in the little plate, look, they put her in the playpen. Like
right.
Yeah,
the
she was in
baby
the
in the
little playpen. Yeah,
playpen.
yeah, yeah. She was in the little playpen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. I think that even us giving this even breath is
Mm-hmm.
stupid, but at the same time we have to call out truth and lies so everybody can understand. So it's like a
Mm-hmm.
fine balance, right? But my
Mm-hmm.
point is, anybody could have made their own playpen. There was a whole bunch of little gates there. If
Mm-hmm.
Queen went and put a little gate around her
Mm-hmm.
and got me to stand beside her, nobody's gonna say anything. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
nobody, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So
Mm-hmm.
anybody could have really done that. That's all I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying. Like it's not like she
Hold
was
on.
so special that
Hold
Mm-hmm.
she
on.
had this thing. That's all I'm saying.
Hold on, Jay. Please tell me this part though. When she was on Nancy Grace, right? And she was in the car. Don't you think her and Nancy set that shit up? Because Nancy was like, Tisa, as you're doing this interview, you're in the car right now.
Mm-hmm.
You had to flee the courthouse. Why are you in the car? Because people want to know. But because Diddy supporters were out of control. They were saying they were going to hurt me. They were threatening to do harm. They were acting like a pack of wild dogs, foaming at the mouth, wanting to rip me apart. Lisa, what exactly did they say? The audience wants to hear. They said, you effing B, we're going to kill you. We're going to do you worse than Cassie was done. I'm
Oh,
like,
you got me
oh,
crying, Queen. Oh my God.
Yo,
I'm
the
like,
one
girl.
Oh Lord.
Now, I know you've
hey,
been
Queen,
lying, but
I haven't heard I haven't seen the comedic side of you. Like,
Oh my God, Queen got the whole script down. It was funny, just like Queen said it too. She said like mostly almost those exact words.
right, she
Exactly.
was. But you know what? That's really funny to me, Jay, and the lounge. It's because after the verdict was in, I went outside and I told people on my live, I said, Tisa is going to cry in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
then she's literally in the car doing that damn interview. That was hilarious. Like she's hiding out. They were out of control. They told me you need to get armed security because there's a lot of weird stuff going on.
and
I'm
who
like,
told you? Who told you that? What do you mean they told you?
right. And then
Who
she
told
remember when
you?
she said Diddy's family, it was Justin or Christian came running there and said, where's Tisa? Where's Tisa? And she said, I'm like, I'm right here, baby.
Girl,
Knowing darn well.
nobody is looking for you like that.
Nobody is checking for her at
Exactly.
all. You
And
trying to
on
make
top of
yourself
that,
relevant.
she said, we're gonna do you worse than we did Cassie. What did Diddy fans do to Cassie?
Yeah, that's what I was
Like,
like.
what are you talking about?
I was like, oh my God. Are you
We're
serious?
gonna do worse to you than we did to Cassie.
And
Yo,
then look,
this
two queens, one king said she was trying to squeeze a cry out. She was. Did you all
Yeah.
notice that? She
Yes.
tried to sound like she was crying for a
Yeah.
second.
she need to
Mm-hmm.
take some of that money she got and put it towards acting lessons. She'll be doing a little bit better
No,
job.
mental health, doctor maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what
that
maybe
that
needs
too.
to
That
be
too.
applied. But I remember when she was saying, and they said that they were going to kill me. I'm like, if one of them so-called armed guards heard you say this on federal grounds, they would have probably tackled you because they don't know, you know what I'm saying? People going in and out, they don't know somebody possibly could have a weapon. That would probably be grounds for them to kind of pull up and take action. You know what I'm saying? When she
Right.
said that, I was like, there was like 50-11 people with their camera rolling. I did not hear on all the 50-11 YouTube channels that anybody said they were going to kill her. I'm like,
Yeah,
where?
for real.
I'm
Everybody
waiting.
was recording.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm waiting. Look.
if somebody had actually threatened her, best believe she would have taken out a warrant for terroristic threats and had them locked up. She's old Karen. Not to
Facts.
mention, she was in my chat one time before the trial. Okay.
Mm.
I had forgotten all about that because it was like a year ago, probably.
Mhm.
But that's why now when I confronted her that day,
Yes,
and
I was
she,
there.
like she didn't know me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yes.
Okay, but you were literally in my chat one day talking trash, and then when I said something smart to her, she was like, "If you come after me, I'm gonna go to the police." And I was like, "Girl, why would I
Mhm.
come after you? You're a whole Karen." That was so funny. Me and my friend Lisa were on here. But yeah, that was hilarious. I mean, somebody said crisis actor for real.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes. I'm like,
Yep.
are you a victim? Like, did you get, like, somebody said in one of their, like, I listened to a lot of YouTubers that were talking about it like all day yesterday and today, and they were saying, oh, she just mad because she got kicked out the freak off. That's why she mad. I'm like, she has to be upset about something. Like, why is she going so hard? But then it makes me think, like, is she really a fed? Like they were saying, is she trying to get this, her little people to, I guess, mentally trained that,
Right.
Diddy's going down. But it's weird, it's just like, yeah. And I
Just,
seen
Let
her.
me ask you, let me
there's just
ask you
only
all
two
this.
more things that I want to say about this
Yeah,
subject. Then I'm gonna shut up about this subject.
Mhm.
yeah.
The first thing is my boy Ratchet TV,
Uh-huh.
and for me, I haven't made any enemies. If anybody want to make an enemy out of me, that's their choice. But that's
Mm-hmm.
not what I do.
Mhm.
So he has always been good to me. And one thing I will
Mm-hmm.
say about Ratchet TV, all he did was call her out, and I was right there. This was at the elevator, and I told this story, but I didn't say it was Ratchet TV. I'd already told the
Yeah,
story on my
please
own
tell
channel.
that story because people don't
Yeah,
know that part.
but
Tell
now,
it.
Yeah.
everybody kind of knows. There's some. I was at the elevator. He was right in front of me. She was. There was all of us there. And just so you guys understand how this works, when people file out of the courtroom, especially on the last day, that kind of stuff, it's like you gotta wait for an elevator. The elevator gets full, you gotta wait for the next one, the next one,
Mhm.
the next one. So what happened was he said, "You lied." He said the jury came back and the jury exposed you. That's what he was saying to her. Not those exact words, but basically the same words. Like, you
Mhm.
lied, the jury came back, the jury exposed you. Now you got to go downstairs and go on your live and basically say to your own fans, I was wrong.
Right.
And
Mhm.
she started saying bad things to him.
Wow.
He
Thank you.
didn't. I'm not gonna say the bad things. If you guys want, you gotta ask Ratchet TV. But there's other people who will say it. But she started saying very bad. She was calling him names. She was insulting him. She was doing stuff to him.
Wow.
All he did is say you lied and you got exposed. That's all he said. He didn't say you're a B. He didn't say
Mhm.
you effing B. He didn't say anything like that. Now,
Mhm.
if he wanted to do that, wouldn't the federal courtroom be the place to do it where there's no cameras? We don't have
Mhm.
That's
any
right.
phones. We
Yeah.
don't have anything. So if you really want to say something to somebody, you could say it when there's only talking witnesses. There's no
Right.
photo evidence. There's no video evidence. There's no audio evidence. If he really wanted to say all the stuff that he said about her, he would have just said it there or in the elevator. He would have just
Mm-hmm.
said it there because ain't nobody gonna be able to record it. Then she said. Then when he went downstairs, he was on live, and he so happened to pass her by, and I think he was still a little bit pissed off that she was calling him names and
Yeah, that's what
saying
it was.
stuff like that. Yeah, and
Mhm.
it's in front of people, right? And these are our,
Mhm.
Right.
these are our peers.
Mhm.
Whether we're all in this trial for like two months straight.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
We all get to know each other. We go eat together. We go have drinks together. We talk about the trial together. So it's
Mhm.
kind of like an embarrassing thing when you're like calling people out of their name and saying insulting people
Mhm.
in front
Yes.
of everybody. And all
Mhm.
he said to her was, "You lied." And he said it quietly first. And then she raised her voice. So he raised his voice a little bit. They
Mhm.
weren't yelling at each other, but that I just want to paint the picture for you
Mhm.
guys who weren't there because I was right there. Like
Mhm.
as I'm in my office, I'm 5 feet away from the door or
Mhm.
10 feet away from the door. That's how it is. All right.
Mhm.
Now,
So
one more thing.
go ahead.
We're going to wrap up in about 15 minutes, but one more thing before we get into the last talking points. Measurement said a few female creators said the same Tisa was the aggressor. She absolutely
Mhm.
was. Now, did you all see the AI video that they did?
No,
Okay, let me go to that real quick.
Right, right.
because me and Jamil, we did a reenactment too. I don't know. I think I sent it to you, Queen.
Yeah, you did. Hold on.
Oh, I saw this. I saw it from you, Queen.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I sent it to you
Yeah,
today.
I did see it.
Yeah.
No, we ain't seen her. She ain't came out that goddamn courtroom. Where is Tisa? Right? About lying on Diddy every day. She came out here and lied on him. We just want to get your reaction. You said he was going to prison, might be coming home. Just want to get your reaction. What do you think about the RICO?
I think that much like you, the jury very ignorant, acted ignorantly, and have ignorant. No, I'm saying the way you came up on me is ignorant.
Well, I've been looking for you because that's what
well, baby, here I am.
So, what do you think? What about all of the lies?
I think I'm on live right now.
Wow.
Yeah, I just want to say that about Roger, like that that was not the thing that she's saying. That's not how it went. That it's just not how it went.
But sometimes when you have people like that, I'm just gonna say they would always try to make themselves a victim, knowing that they were the perpetrator, the whole, in the whole situation. And people are not looking at it like that. They're looking at it like, oh, well, he's a man and he attacked her. But we need to listen to the real story and what happened in the courthouse when it originally started and then it carried outside. And like you said, he wasn't even, calling her out her name, being disrespectful. But she came and she was very arrogant, very disrespectful, calling him the N word and broke. And between the two creators, your little channels and your broke and, just all kind of very, very disrespectful, things. So,
Yeah, it is disrespectful. Now, listen, with that being said, how do you all feel about the when the verdict came in, the it seemed like there was a lot of excitement. It seemed like for the most part, people were cheering or whatever. And Sam said he didn't feel it was appropriate to cheer. But here's the thing. It wasn't necessarily that people were cheering for Diddy. It was the fact that we already knew that they were trying to set a precedent. And let's talk about with your friend, because I watched your video last night, Jay. It was very insightful. I really enjoyed Gil being on there. He had some very good talking points. And in fact, I showed a couple of clips this morning on my live. But that was a really good video. He was very insightful. In fact, he had a lot of the same thoughts that I have. But I really liked when he talked about how our community does not stick together. And we are just so quick to turn on each other. Even when we don't have any facts or proof, we just go by the stuff that people are saying, judging people in the court of public opinion, But I feel like overall, the bottom line is it wasn't just a win for Diddy. It was a win because this could have really set precedent, and a lot of people could have been getting in big trouble just for simply flying somebody out to have a good time, or somebody that you like and want to have, enjoy their company.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what some people didn't get. But I also feel like at the same time, a lot of people got so in their emotions and were, I don't know if they've been victimized or traumatized before, but it seemed to me like some people just took it so personal that they just would not listen to logic and reason. And they kept saying, oh, he should have got life, or he should have, been found guilty. And then when you say, well, why is that? Well, because we saw the video, but he wasn't on trial for the video, and I think that was a plan that the prosecution thought that the jurors would be so small-minded that they would instantly see that and say, oh, he's a monster. He's going down anyway. But they didn't. They saw beyond that. And they were able to see the truth of everything that was presented, in my opinion. I thought they did an excellent job. Okay. At the end of the day. And now, Jay, what do you think about when people make the comment, and then you can answer this next to Lounge. What do you think about when people make the comment that if the prosecution had presented their case differently, then they could have won?
I think that there's a lot of people who make a lot of mistakes. I'm going to go off on a tangent for 10 seconds, 30
Go
seconds.
ahead.
Yeah, but then I'll come back. I promise you guys, I'll bring it home. I'll land the plane. But there's a lot of people who turn around and say, well, he was guilty for all these things. Okay, maybe. I don't know. I wasn't there. So
Right.
I don't know. And I'm a little bit younger than the people who tell me that. So I also was like 8 years old when this stuff was happening. So I don't have all the facts. Maybe he was, but let's just assume he was. If you didn't catch him for those things, then you didn't catch him for those things. You got to
Exactly.
move forward. You got to move on. You got to make the world a better place moving forward. You can't try to set a precedent. And what I don't like is that you're not considering me or my nephews or nieces or little cousins, or my youngest brother is 18 years old, right? So you're not considering him when you decide we're going to try to, like you said, Queen, set this precedent, and then we can go and get you for doing regular things that we all do. And that's very, very scary to me, because I gave this example in one of my lives. We all think we don't break the law, but we all do, and we don't even realize it. For example, God rest her soul, my grandmother passed away now, but she used to have the Monday, Tuesday. I don't know where my bag is, but I have the same thing. The Monday, Tuesday. Give me 1 second. It's right. It's right.
Okay.
Okay. So you guys know this thing. You guys know these little pill containers. Let me turn the background off so everybody can see. You know these little pill containers, right? We get the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You open it up, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah. So my grandmother used to have a pill container like this. She has to take this pill at this time and this day and this day and this day. Those were prescription pills specifically for her. She actually was committing a felony by taking those pills out of the original container and putting them into a container like this.
Yeah, I know that.
So now all of a sudden they want to get my grandmother on a technicality, for example, right? Because she said something, maybe she spoke out against the wrong political party. Maybe she spoke out against the wrong movement. Maybe she, whatever. So they're going to say, well, it's a felony for this. That is the precedent we're setting. And that was really scary to me, because we all do things that we don't even know could be, on the fence of this or that. And not all of us have money like Puff. So we are just gonna hire maybe my little bro, he don't have money like that.
I can't afford Brian Steele.
Exactly. So that's the thing that scared me.
That's exactly what's my point. And to your point about your grandmother and those pills, the same thing happened to me in Cobb County. Okay, I had pills. I was taking medication, and I had them in one of those things just like that. Got pulled over on Christmas Day. This was years ago. Cobb County is very racist. For those of you who don't know, that's the place where the woman was pulled over. It was a white woman, and she was shaking. And the cop asked her, "Why are you shaking?" She says, "I don't want to get shot." He said, "We only shoot black people." Now, he didn't realize she was recording him, but after the video footage came out, then he said, "Oh, I was joking." But how's that funny? Okay, but I got pulled over by them, and for a fender bender, and he saw the pills in the little armrest thing or whatever, and he said, "Are those narcotics?" And I said, "No, they're my medications, prescriptions." And then he said, "Let me see it." So I handed it to him, and he said, "These are different types of pills." He said, "You do know that it's a felony for you to have all these different pills in this container, right?"
Wow.
It's crazy.
Exactly.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I didn't either until he told me.
Wow.
So they could, get you for little things like that. If the whole thing with the rug with the D, the distribution thing they were trying to prove, the thing is, Diddy never, according to the witnesses like Brendan Paul, he was not giving them the substances like to have. They were all sharing them and doing them together. Okay, and then Charlucci, I think he said something about that too. That basically that's not distribution. Even you don't have to exchange money for it to technically be distribution, but it's about the possession. If I give possession of it over to Jay, then I distributed them to him, or if I give them to you. But if we're all just using them together, and then when I leave, I'm taking the rest of it with me, that's not distribution. And that's what they were trying to say. That's what they were trying to put in the jurors' heads. But the jurors, they were very smart to me, because they asked questions about that when it was time for them to deliberate. And I thought also it showed that they were doing their due diligence when they asked to have the transcripts of Cassie and Daniel Phillips's testimony.
The
and
jury
then
was smart.
they were smart. And then, here's the thing. When people say that, oh, they could have won had they presented things differently. Listen, we don't know what the jurors saw on the sealed evidence, such as the freak-off videos. We didn't see that. So obviously, whatever they saw on those freak-off videos looked to them like it was consensual. Like these people were enjoying it and were there for it.
Yes.
Okay? And then there were other exhibits that we didn't get to see as well that the jurors only got to see. So how can anybody say that the jurors got it wrong? You don't know what they saw. You don't know all of the evidence that they were privy to that we were not. So just to say that and call them idiots and bite asses and all. That's just crazy for me. Okay,
Absolutely.
but
So
they did a really good
disrespectful.
job.
Yeah,
I think
they
they did
did.
a good job.
They did their due diligence, and everybody is not going to agree on certain things, but as the jurors, they have to agree, of course. But I mean, to call them ignorant and all kind of names, I mean, that's very disrespectful for
And Ratchet in my chat, I see everybody saying, "Hey, Ratchet, Ratchet." Shout out to Ratchet TV.
Yeah, shout out to
All
oh,
right.
Ratchet.
shout out to Ratchet.
Shout
I
out
didn't
to
see him.
Ratchet.
I didn't see him in there. Is he in there?
Yeah, so with that all being said, and listen, here we have a retired, and I want y'all to pay attention because this is one of my favorite subscribers. Retired federal police officer Carol Banks said, "Yes, ma'am, correct." Okay, thank you, beloved. All right, and that's another thing. She also basically agreed that it was more likely than not that perhaps the person that we've been talking about possibly being paid by the prosecution possibly was, but that is absolutely a thing. Okay, that was absolutely a thing. And then Zootour says Tisa was a damn hater for insulting the jury like that. The jury was fair. They
Yeah.
absolutely were.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
Somebody
smarter
said
than
she know.
her.
Right. I mean, how are you going to call somebody ignorant just because they don't go along with your narrative? That in itself is ignorant.
Yeah.
If I don't like your opinion because it's contrary to mine, and then I want to call you ignorant or call you names just because of that, that
And
in
it was
itself is ignorant.
12-0, Queen. It was 12-0. It's not like it was like, 8-4 or something. It was all 12 jurors were on the same exact page, not guilty. It
Yeah.
wasn't a majority vote.
Exactly.
But she just wanted, just like how she talks to her people, it's like she wants to program them. It's like she's trying to control everybody's thoughts on what she wants. It's all about her
Trying
and
to
what she
control
wants.
the narrative. Trying to control the narrative. That's what that is. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, did you all have any last words, anything you want to say, or any points you want to bring across? And also, be sure you shout out your channels and tell everybody where they can find you all at. This has been a good panel. I appreciate you guys for coming on here. We're going to have to do it again. Okay. So yeah, go ahead. We'll start with the lounge. Go ahead and say your last words, and then shout out your social medias.
Okay, so I do want to say that at the beginning of the trial, just because of the narrative that the press, the ABCs, the CNNs, Fox and all of them painted, I was totally, Diddy's guilty. He did this, he did that, he's guilty. Where's the minors? Where are the freak off tapes? This, that, and the third. But when I actually went to the trial, boots on ground, and when I started hearing testimony, that's when my thought process had changed. So I was like, this is more than just the ex-girlfriends. This is really about, this is not even the appropriate charge. A RICO is not for Diddy, who is out here paying people for, rectal services, or out here paying for rugs. That is like the total opposite of a mob boss. So when I had to kind of change my process about that, it's not about, because I don't care for Diddy. I don't think that he's the nicest person or whatever. And a lot of people agree on that, period, point blank across the board. However, my thing is, because I have a son, I don't want my son to be, getting charged, if he stole a candy bar, getting charged for, breaking and entering in somebody's house and stealing some TVs or something, So I had to change my thought process and say the RICO wasn't even an applicable charge for what he has done. So my thing is that, like I said, I have a son, I do have a daughter. I don't want them later on to something like this to happen to them, because I will be highly upset, So that is, what my thoughts on it. At the end of the day, charge him appropriately. They're saying there's more charges. We can't confirm nor deny that right now. However, the RICO charge just wasn't applicable for what he has done. But you guys, I enjoyed being here with Queen and conversations. My socials are here on YouTube, The Lounge 8385. Also on TikTok, The Lounge at The Lounge 8385, and also on IG.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Hold on one second. Measure Man says, did you see she said that 8 ignorant men forced the 4 women, and had it been all women, he would have been found guilty? Yeah. I did hear her say that. That's absolutely crazy work. Thank you for your insight to the topic and your contribution to the channel, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, go ahead, Jay. And I'll give the last word.
If everybody's ignorant except for you, we know who's ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
If everybody else is the
Exactly.
ignorant one in the room, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, yeah,
Exactly.
conversations with Jay, KHAM versations. I don't know if you guys can see it here, but conversations with Jay. My name is Jay. We started this channel only because of the fact that we were starting a leadership channel, and I also had strong opinions about this trial. So we just started it on the back of the trial. So I tell all of my clients, myself, I'm a coach. So I tell all my clients and the businesses that I coach, hey, when you see a wave, jump on the wave. So I had to take my own advice. We jumped on the wave so we can get a spark to start. Um, and so, as far as this trial goes, I'll be honest with you, this is bigger than Puff. This was from the start. This was way
Yeah,
bigger than Puff. This is
that's what I
not me
said.
caping for Puff. People try to put us down because they say,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, Diddy fans are
Mm-hmm.
this. Diddy fans, Diddy fans, Diddy fans." They try to put us down. We're stupid. We're ignorant. We're black men. So of course we're caping for the black man, and we're Diddy fans. No, no, no. You guys could check my resume. I've done a lot of social justice stuff in my neighborhood, in the world. Period.
Hmm.
And so you guys can look at mywincolumn.com. Just look me up.
That's right.
My wincolumn, WINCOLUMN.com. You could see my whole entire resume. I've been doing this, and since I was 19 years old, right? So I just really, really have a passion for making sure that we protect each other and protect our communities. So this is much bigger than Puff. I'm not caping for Puff. I'm caping for justice. I'm caping for community, and I'm caping for our future. And I just think about my future children, my little brothers, my little cousins, and I just think I don't want them, because I'm not gonna be here forever. I don't want the future to grow up in this new standard of a world where if we want to get you, we're going to get you. We're going to make some charges stick. We're going to do whatever. And they've been doing it. That's the thing. It's not new. They've been
That's
doing
right.
it. They've been doing it over and over and over again. And some of my closest people to me have been subject to this. And some of the people that, have been part of my friend circle or my family have been locked up and are still locked up because of this foolishness. And
And Jake,
yeah,
I'm sorry, go ahead. I have a question for you in just a second. Go ahead.
no, no, go ahead. I'll remember.
Well,
What
so
was
your
it?
friend Gil that was on the show last night. Now, please, can you repeat that story? Because I forgot what time step it was, where he talked about how they tried to get Diddy even back in
Originally,
1999. They wanted that guy to lie on him about that club shooting. Can you
originally.
please tell that?
Yeah. So I was having a conversation. We've spoken about this many, many times, but basically, he is like G is he's younger than Puff, but he's in that circle. He grew up in that era, and him and other people I know were a part of that situation. Just put it that way. And without calling no names, you guys can go do your research. The person, he's passed away now, but the person that threw the money in Puff's face that night with Jennifer Lopez in the New York club shooting, right? That person was connected to them. I didn't know them at that time. I was like 8 years old at the time, but that person was connected to them. So what happened was um, the feds came to that person that threw the money in Puff's face, and then Shine pulled out and then there was a shooting at the club.
Mm.
The person that was connected, the person that threw in the face that was the target of that shooting,
Mm.
that particular person was pressed by the feds to say it was Puff with the gun. And that
Mm.
person said, but it wasn't him with the gun. And remember, this is a guy about to get shot. And he still kept it real and said, no, no, I'm going to keep it street.
And
It
tell him what Puff
wasn't Puff.
said. Tell him what Puff said before he threw the money in his face, how Puff was trying to calm it down.
Yeah, Puff originally was trying to calm it down. He was saying, we're here to have a good time. We're here to whatever, whatever.
Bringing in the
And
new year and all that.
bringing in all that. And
Wow.
Puff has kind of been that person. I mean, but you never know. You know what they said if there's one thing I learned about Puff, you don't know which Puff you're gonna get. if there's
Right.
one thing I learned about him during the trial, it could be this one. It's like Jekyll and Hyde, depending on if he's high or if he's drugged up or if he's drunk or whatever. You know, everybody said the same thing on the stand. We don't know which one we're gonna get. And so all I'm saying is that particular night, from what I know from specific like people who told me who were there, people who've told me who were there, Puff was actually trying to calm down the situation.
Wow.
The feds went to the guy that was supposed to get shot that day, and you guys know I think a lady did get shot.
Yeah,
That day.
Natanya Rubin.
Yes, but that was a stray bullet that she caught, which it was horrible. The guy that was supposed to get shot said, "I'm not snitching on him because he didn't even have the gun." And he was facing some time because he had, I think, reckless. He shot a gun out a window or something like that. Around
And
New
he was on
Year's.
parole.
So yeah, exactly. He was on parole. So they said, "We'll clear your record." Basically, we'll clear your record if you sit on a stand and say Puff did it. And he said Puff didn't do it, and I'm gonna keep it G, and I'm not doing that. And he took his punishment, and he took his punishment for what he actually did, and he kept it moving. What I'm saying is they've been after him for a long time. And so that's what, as soon as this Cassie lawsuit came on, they were like a pack of piranhas. Like, as soon as they saw that Cassie lawsuit, oh, we got him at this, we got him at this. And if you guys, just last thing, because I don't want to hold up this live too long. The last thing I'm going to tell you guys, if you look on my channel, no Jane Doe, no RICO. The last thing they did, if you were at the court, you know Jane Doe's testimony was she had plans to see Puff before he got arrested. And they asked her, one of the last questions they asked her, and when were you supposed to see her? She said, whatever date. And then they said, and did you see him on that date? She said, no. And they said, why didn't you see him on that date? And she said, because he got arrested.
Got arrested.
So
Exactly.
she was with him straight till the end. They flipped her and turned her into a victim. She was not wanting to be a victim. She was his girlfriend, one of his girlfriends at the time. She loved this man right up until the end. She wanted to see him right up until the end. But they couldn't get the RICO without Jane Doe because RICO has a 5-year statute of limitations. And Cassie and Puff broke up 7 years before 2024.
That's right.
So, exactly. So they couldn't go back to get the RICO stuff without flipping Jane Doe. So what
And
they
Gina
said
didn't show up. They couldn't get in touch with Gina.
Gina didn't show up.
That's right. So
couldn't
they were
get Gina to do it.
desperate.
So they try to flip Gina and Jane Doe. They couldn't flip Gina. They ended up flipping Jane Doe so they could get the RICO, so they could go back 20 years for Capricorn Clark and Kid Cudi and all this stuff that's like 15, 20 years ago, because they wanted to bring that into the case for the RICO. But without Jane Doe, there's a 5-year statute of limitations. They wouldn't have been able to go back far enough because him and Cassie were broken up for 7 years at that point. So it scares me to live in a society or a community that sets a precedent that if you just want to go get somebody, just go and get them. You can go and get them. And that is what I'm standing for. And I am an advocate of Puff in his business and the doors he's broken down for us. But the same thing I'm going to tell you about Puff is the same thing I've been telling about Kobe Bryant for years. At the end of the day, what you do in your personal life is not what I'm an advocate for. I'm an advocate for what you're doing outside of your personal life. Kobe had that essay charges and all that stuff. I'm a fan of his hard work. I was a fan of his basketball play. I was a fan of what he did in that realm. And the same thing goes with Puff. I'm a fan of that stuff. I can separate the two, and I think that's very important for us to do.
Right, and that's because you think critically and not in your emotions, which is what we all should do. Okay, so with that all been said, listen, I appreciate you guys. Jay, did you give your channel?
Conversations with Jay, KHAN, Versations, VERSTIONS with Jay. That's me, JAY. Thank you.
Okay, so you guys, it was a wild and crazy ride, but I enjoyed every minute of it in New York. Some days I didn't feel like I was going to make it. You know, it's like every time I made it through the line and into that main courtroom, I felt like I had just crossed over the road to freedom or something. It was really interesting. And I met a lot of nice people there. I met some not so nice people there. But the bottom line is I had a good time. And I'm really glad that I went because it really changed my mind and really gave me more of a perspective into what actually was unfolding and how serious this all was. And like Jay said, it wasn't just about Diddy. When I realized that this can affect and impact our community specifically more so than anybody else's, because who do they usually target? Okay. And look at Kanye. Now he's accused of S trafficking. And this lawsuit that this girl filed against him in June or July of 2024 has now been amended with more things added to it. So I wouldn't be surprised if they end up hitting him with a RICO, because we already know that due to some things that he said, that just might make him a target, just like with Diddy and Diageo. Okay, so with that all been said, everybody keep your head on the swivel. And we have to, as a community of people, we have to always start to look at the bigger picture. Okay, other people will look out for their own first before anything else, whether they're right, wrong, or indifferent. Okay, we're the only ones who really don't do that like we should. And I keep telling you all, you know, that scenario that I tell you all about, the 100 problems, I'm going to say it one more time for anybody who missed it. At the end of the day, the thing that I do admire about white people is that they have 100 issues, they can disagree on 99 of those issues and only agree on one. But the one thing they agree on is enough to keep them in a united front. As for our people, that's the same thing that I hate about us. We can have 100 issues and disagree on only one and actually agree on 99. But the one thing that we disagree on can tear us apart. We'll start throwing each other under the bus and acting like crabs in a barrel. And that's the sad thing. We need to get on code. And once you get on code, you need to stay on code. Okay? Why do you think that J. Edgar Hoover said the biggest threat to America is Negro unity? Okay? They do everything to keep us divided, because that's how you can keep people under oppression and keep their feet on your necks at the end of the day. So we need to pay attention to those things. Okay, so that all being said, thanks everyone for tuning in. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, peace.
Peace out.
Bye-bye.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got